Morning all. Good morning everyone. Happy Friday. End of the week. Let's make sure we end this week strong. Hopefully some of you yesterday when I got off the stream listened to my advice on what I'd be looking for in the afternoon, because very shortly after I got off stream it set up, right? And it was a really nice solid trade. We joined a little bit later. Some of you might have taken the low volume node, but we in Discord joined a little bit later once we'd failed under VWAP and failed the shelf, and we got 275 points out of it. It came all the way down into the current week point of control. That was our cover point. Maybe it could have held for another 20 points or something, but it was very nice. And once we did that and rebalanced, if we think about what we did, once we did this was the move I'm talking about. Once we did that and rebalanced into here, the long became available. Now, I didn't take the long afterwards. I was done with it, but I was hoping it would leave us this for today. But yet again, you London and Asia traders are having fun with it without me. So let's just have a look at what's available so far today. We're an outside bar after a rebalance. Market strong. We're in day 18. All right, day 18 in a row of green printing days on the semiconductors. All right, this week around these levels here in the semiconductor ETS, we've seen absolutely huge numbers, some of the biggest trades ever, which might explain some of those blocks coming in yesterday. Maybe they were partnering off in the queues as well. And we've had liftoff. If you're looking at Intel and stuff like that, you know, up another 20-30% this morning. I'm up now 108% on my AMD swing from last year, and all of semis are absolutely pumping with it. So we have to be aware of that, of the bigger macro outlook right now. All right, higher time frame. We're focused on the hourlies. All right, so this is going to be the key today. Like we talked about, we created two ranges basically over the last couple of weeks, or I'd say the last week really. Right, there was our first range. All right, bottom of the range, breakout, pullback, tried again. This was yesterday's move, rebalance. This was the failure we took yesterday into this node right here. All right, this is fair value. We expect that to be bid. All right, they bid off fair value. They're actually holding a giant trend line here as well, as you can see. They bid fair value, and we come up and we create this inverse right shoulder. And this is the trade I was hoping we would get set up today. Once we did this, I was going to wait for this for the long today. It's been and gone. It's happened without me, which is fine. So we're bullish overall. So what we're looking for? Well, really, ideally, we'd want exactly the same as we saw here. This breakout, right? We'd want the pullback and go. This breakout, we'd want the pullback and go, all right, for the continuation leg, right? That's going to be the easier trade today if they let it come in. So we're looking for longs in an ideal scenario. We are going to respect some of the volume that's been created this morning off earnings. So ideally, we're watching these nodes sort of 177 and then 150 down to 100. We'd like to see that hold, right? Anywhere in here hold for longs would be good. If I pull the 5 minute down, you'll probably see it a little bit better. All right, we've got trapped into some cool walls here. So we know we don't want to be long close into this 270 node here. All right, it's overnight point of control, and it's our biggest cool wall for the day. There's a good chance they fail this level. So really, I feel much more comfortable either taking somewhere in here, like we've already seen, or a little bit lower. All right, so I'm looking for this or this back up. If they squeeze at the open and go without me, and we don't get this failure back down here for me to pick up the longs, then what we can do is wait for it to come back over this level here, this node, and then protect that. And we'll be looking for longs then at sort of, we can call it basically 300, risking 70s to try and get to new all-time highs. If you're adamant on being short today, all right, if you're adamant on being short today, you need this to fail. All right, I won't be trading this, I don't think, unless it's very obvious, but you would need this to fail for a rotation back down. That would be a failure basically from 280s down to 180s. There is 100 points there if it does it, and then runners down into the sort of 120 node. There's no true shorts, all right? There's no sort of pro trend shorts until we come back into this range here. Everything up here above this is a pullback. This is all a pullback, higher time frame. Under this, yes, weakness, look above and fail, weakness. So your easier money is probably made on the long side today. All right, just to make that clear, but mark out the GEX levels. You can see where they are. We are in positive gamma all the time. We're above 860, 870. All right, so we're a long way up. We're into some walls here. Okay, let's move into the lower time frame. Go through the ES. I'm going to move this to a 5 minute. So you can see on NQ, strong gap up. Remember, big gap up right now. Almost 300 points. So, well, it is 300 points. A big gap up right now in the market. ES, same story here. All right, it's poked into this all-time high overnight and failed. All right here, here's your all-time high overnight and failed back in, but this is the big level. All right, so this matters on ES. You can see we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 attempts at the high. We've finally taken it and we've come back down inside. If you're trading ES, you're watching all-time highs and you're watching this RBS zone, this node here. So I'd be watching, let's just call it 165 down to sort of 160. All right, you'd want that to hold. If they can't hold that, right, then there's a deeper dive back down to VWAP and PDC here, and maybe they bid off that. So slight divergence between the two. Yet again, you can see the different market because we are under all-time highs because it's right now it is chip names that are driving it, whereas NQ has broken out and is holding up here. It hasn't even retested this. So very different markets right now. So you need to be aware of the difference, the divergence taking place. You're going to see that in the SPYs and the Qs as well. All right, so spiders up here, same story. Okay, has swept, taken the liquidity, is coming back in. Again, you'd be watching ideally for it to hold around where we are now, around these 11s and 10s. Failing of that, then we might get this gap fill. Very, very different to the Qs, as you can see. Big old breakout, and these have got room. All right, these have got room to hold these levels here. They can come back in and hold these levels and still be very bullish. All right, but again, big cool wall. This is the same cool wall that we had. God, we're going back to sort of November last year. 660s, all right, everyone remember those 660s. It was a huge, am I getting that right? It can't be because it's all-time highs. Why have I got 660s in my head? Maybe it was just 600s. But anyway, big cool wall here. Maybe it's just from what I've been watching on Gamma recently. 660s, big cool wall here. You can see we're in this second leg here. So we'll see if we come down and if they're willing to bid off it. I will have my eye on ES. It's a Friday. We might be a bit wonky. We might see divergence between the two. All right, Dixie has been trying to go for the breakout. It's pulled back in a bit today, but you can see it's trying to fill this gap that we talked about. All right, this is all to do with Iran and the war. All right, if the war cools down and everything's okay, we pull back in, stocks keep going higher. If the war, keeps being prolonged, oil prices go up, you're going to see Dixie come back out and try and fill this gap, and this will be a big problem if the Dixie does that. So we can have one eye on that. VIX as well, still doing the dance. Look, we've really not moved on a daily. I can show you the volatilities. I mean, it's actually wild because the volatility was massive yesterday. We just had one big spike, but other than that, we've been pretty condensed here, pretty much between 19s in the 19s, 19s to 20s tops. All right, so the VIX will get going if it starts basing over 20s and 21s, and we have a gap to fill up here. But at the moment, we're not seeing that. We're seeing a dull, grinding market. All the time we're here or drifting down, you're going to see the Qs and the ES just dull, grind higher. That's how it operates. All right, let's get through the mag. Apple gapping down here, weakness. Did we break out? Okay, it had the attempt at 75s. All right, you want to be careful here. In fact, I'm going to set a price alert down here because if we start to lose these levels, it's going to be problematic. All right, so price alert for me on Apple around the 71, 72, somewhere around there. We lose that, you can see there's probably quite thin in this move up. So it needs to base and hold up here this morning for the market to stay strong. Amazon, big breakout. We're still long in this. It doesn't give me the ability to add on a dip, really. I was looking for us to come back in. But if we start to base out now at these highs, I will start adding in some more size around 75s. But we're up really big on this, so kind of not to complain. But it looks good. Squeezing out, gapping up into a big wall here at 260, worth watching. Goog, this is the big one that I've missed. And still basing out really well. This inverted head and shoulders, you can see this kind of move here. All right, and we're coming up to the neckline. Breakout of there, we'll send it, and it has some room then to try and get back up into the 350s. All right, what a recovery. Look at that. What a recovery. All I was looking for was the undercut. You can see it placed there, but huge move. If we get lucky, we'll come in 50% at some point, but it doesn't look like it right now, does it? Meta, gapping up on Meta, but inside the weekly range. We're not at highs right now. This is actually looking kind of weak compared to the rest. So is that an undercut, or are we going to just backfill this and sell? I don't know, but it doesn't look as good as the rest of the market right now, that's for sure. Probably a leave alone. Microsoft, same kind of story. All right, there's the undercut on Softy. That's a good sign. Back into range. If they can hold bids around 415s, all right, then Softy looks good for a lift back up. This is a bit like Nvidia a few weeks ago. If it can hold these bids down here on a lower time frame, it looks good to try and get back to the highs. But you're just within the weekly range right now. We're not at highs, so it doesn't have strength like some of the chip names. All right, Nvidia broke out yesterday. We can zoom this out. We broke out. We haven't quite got to highs, but we broke out. We're coming back into range now. All right, so it's failing at the highs and pulling back into the range right now. All right, so we are right down here. So you want to be careful here. We're boxed in. If Nvidia starts to lose these 97s, we're going to come back down again. So it really depends how much more room have chips got. If I get time, I'll show you what's leading the charge here in TSM and INTC. Tesla, same kind of story. It's trying to recover after earnings. Earnings were good, but its capex spend was massive. Investors don't like that right now. It's why tech is down. So earnings were good. Capex spend was bad. They didn't like the guidance. We've rejected these sort of 85s, 86s. So it doesn't look great for Tesla. Software names have been coming back in a little bit recently, but we're still basing out okay. Here's a giant range on Oracle. The ones that I want to look at this morning are what's driving this market. INTC, there you go. There's the drive. All right, there's the big chip names into a giant cool wall up here. All right, so these are the big chip names off earnings, right? And everything caught a bid with that. AMD, like I said, I'm up well over 100% on this swing now. Huge move. All right, so if I had more size on, I'd be taking more profits. But you can see we were long from here, I think it was. If I'm up 150%, yes. So we were long from around here on AMD, and it's been beautiful. It's been a really good trade. All right, so maybe this needs to come back in and cool off. But we'll see. Again, giant cool wall here on some of these chip names. These are the ones that are going to dictate whether this market has any more room. Is this an overextension and we sell into it this morning? All right, possibly. And see, we're rejecting this node up here already. I'll remind you, we've had a great week. It's Friday. We don't want to be giving our week back. All right, we really don't want to be giving our week back. So nice and easy at the open. Make sure you've got everything marked out. We're watching these nodes. All right, we're watching how we react. This sort of 285, we're watching 175, and we're watching the RBS level at 122, and we can see, and we're going to watch the divergence as well. All right, because ES has relative weakness. If ES starts to lose VWAP and starts to sell inside of the range, and INTC and AMD and Nvidia, etc., start to pull back in, we might see some weakness come into the market for a bigger pullback. Someone just joined as a member. Sorry, I've missed you there. Reptile, welcome to the team. Welcome to the team, Reptile. All right, folks. So here we go. 40 seconds left to the open. So as a reminder, if you're adamant on the short, you should probably already be in it versus this. If you're adamant on that short, you will be trimming profits into here and here. I'll be waiting to see if we find a bid here or if we lose this big RBS zone, and then we're going to go back into range for a gap fill. So I'm watching all of these possibly at the open. It's probably going to be very, very volatile in the opening minute or two, because of the size of the move up that we had during earnings. Here we go. All right, so coming back down into this first node, VWAP tagged to start the day. So grey box to grey box. I'm just going to let this shake out for a bit. Don't want to get myself caught on a Friday. It was payout day yesterday, so took a nice payout on Lucid. And TPT, I'll be paying myself today. And Bookmap's gone down. Fantastic. It's a good start, isn't it? CME with Bookmap going down. Great start. So ES failing. I'm blind right now. Let me. Bookmap's completely frozen. Sorry, folks. This is going to take a second, but here it is. It's back. It's back. Well done, Bookmap. You got some data now. Okay. I was blind there for the first minute. All right. ES failing VWAP. And Q's finding a bid at VWAP. Zoom in on the QQQ. Holding its RBS zone, finding a print or a support above PDH so far. ES coming back down already. So the divergence at play here. Major divergence at play. Like we expected this morning. Because chips are running the show. ES about to take out his little swing low here. This node here is important, and we start losing this node, we're going to come and back test. Remember, this blue box is the RBS zone. These are the old highs in this blue box. So if they can't find a bid here or here, they'll be back into range, they'll be in trouble. All the time, technically, Apple's crossing that low already, all right? So Apple's starting to lose a bid at that low that we just marked out, just got an alert. So this is the move for Qs. If they can hold this, they can go. If they lose this zone, we are back into the weekly rotation, and these will be the targets. All right, so I'm just trying to let this sort of settle down in the first couple minutes while we make some decisions here. Just have a quick look at Apple because it's just lost that bid we just talked about. Does it undercut? Does it come back in? Yeah, it's a heavy opening print. You can see that it was very likely to come. So alert hit. If they stay heavy now versus here on Apple, you might see a trade downside. If they reclaim this, it can be a little below, in fact. Mad divergence. Yeah, big divergence right now. If you go and look at like the ETFs for the chips, Soxtrol and stuff like that, they are flying 18 days green, right? But the last 3 or 4 days, some of the biggest orders we've ever seen ever in the history of those ETFs. And well, they've got paid, haven't they? Because they have broken out with Intel. So it's like, how long are they willing to hold on for? Do they take profit? That's kind of the question. All right, holding grey box, holding VWAP. So the transition will be all the way up here to 285. How we act up here will become important. ES is just undercut, is trying to get back up to its VWAP. So we found bids here this morning so far, down in this grey box. We're just between these two. Remember, bullish strength will really come over that. All right, if they get over that, that's major bullish strength. This can be a back test of this. We can range out in here for a while. It doesn't look big, but that is a 100-point range in there. So I'm being patient, especially on a Friday. And VIX just sat at 19s again, just dull and dead. So we go, coming back up now. So if you did take the long from the grey box and VWAP, I'd probably be starting to trim some into these 50s and then into 85s. And if you get over that, then I think you'll probably get a new all-time high. So we're into a little imbalance up here. We did catch some sellers at those lows on VWAP, which is good. That's a good sign for you bulls. So far, we've caught some sellers. I'd say sellers are caught at 200 and under, but the major seller was caught at 80. So if you can hold a print over 200, maybe you've got a chance to get going here. You're still very early in the morning. It's 5 minutes in. It's only your opening 5-minute bar. So if this pullback holds 200, then I'd say you've got a shot at moving higher here. If you can't hold the 200, I'd be somewhat concerned. So 200, somewhere around that, this little In fact, let's get rid of this. Sorry, we need to get rid of him now. Put a new one on. No, you are not right. There we go. There we go. All right, so coming into 200, this is where they need to hold. You have huge divergence to ES. ES breaking down, making new lows here. This is the level. If bulls can't hold this for you, then I think you're going to struggle to get up to the rotation up here. If you break down under this grey box, they're going to come and revisit this blue box. So this is the level bulls need to hold right here, right now. Good reaction. Nice. That's a good reaction off that 200. Yeah, it's pinned right. It looks awful, that. It doesn't look very accurate. Not compared to what I'm looking at over here. I'm looking at this shelf here. Right here, this 200. They lose 200. We can revisit this seller at the lows. We had big divergence at that low. So it's a good sign so far. There's big passive buying at 700 and under so far today. ES does not look good here though. So I guess the question is, can they hold 700 for this rotation back up to 73s for you? If they lose 700 and they lose low of day, then you're going to come to this blue box. At the moment, I'm not in a position, still just waiting, letting it do whatever it is it wants to do right now while they figure it out. It would be much better if we go into some form of alignment here, if ES can catch a bid with NQ. You can see it's desperate to hold these 700s at the moment, but you've got to think if it snaps this, it's not going to be very pretty given what ES is doing. And there is gap fill below, but ideally for you guys, it holds the 700s. So watching this right now, over 720, we can start getting going. All right, if it can like push over 720 and then pull back and use that as a new base, it can start to get going. So 700 so far holding, 720 is going to be key here. We can get over all this volume. All right, so we're holding sevens. If it can do this, it will try and do this. All right, so that's what I'll be looking for you guys who are bullish. But you do not want to lose this shelf down here. You will be in big pain given what ES is doing. 700, sorry, 200 got, my eyesight is awful. 200s, what is he on about today? 27,200s, my bad folks, my bad. 200s, 220s. God, what an idiot. You idiot. What an idiot. 200, 27,200. I'm just trying to piss you guys off. All right, here's the break over 220s. So if you hold the bid back into 220s now, you've got a chance to get going. If you can hold this bid over 220s, you've got a chance to get going, and the rotation will be up to these 270s. And you'd want to be locking in some profit when you get up there. It's a good hold of 220s there. So we'll see if there's a way of getting involved here. I want to be very careful. Seeing if we can turn this market. ES starting to find a bid as well. If ES gets over VWAP, that will really help. So let's see if we can get long here versus 220s. If they're going to play bull. So this pull back in, as long as this holds 220 or above, which it does. Okay, long in this now. Let's see if we can break out this high. Small size. And if we can take out this 45s, I'll look for the move up to 80. So here's 45s. Here we go. Come on, let's break 50s. There's lots of liquidity up at 300. So we're watching 65 and 80s and then 300s. Come on, baby. Let's make it nice and easy to start the day, shall we? Trying to get up into here. Here we go, folks. You can peel some off here if you want at high of day, and if you're skeptical about it. Let's see if we can get up into that grey box above. Let this work. We need ES to get through the VWAP in New York Open. Here we go, folks. Here we go, folks. Here we go, folks. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. So let's see if we can get into that 70 and 80 zone. Yeah, my bad. I'm so sorry calling 200, 700. It shows I've got a migraine this morning. I'm tired. It's a Friday. My brain's not working properly. Right, so you'd want all dips to hold 220s now. You don't want this to fail 220s. Stops already moved up for me. And ideally, ES takes out its VWAP. We're currently stuck at VWAP. If ES and the spiders get through VWAP, that will really help because we've got big divergence here. Here we go. Come on. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Let's get us paid nice and early today. Come on, ES. Don't be a pain here. The divergence will kill us if it keeps getting stuck here. You might want to trim some profit here if ES keeps failing VWAP. It's going to make it hard. If ES fails this VWAP, it's had a first attempt here and pulls back down, we're going to get a little bit stuck. So we want to be careful. And it is pulling back off VWAP. You want to be careful here, folks. I'd move your stop into the money. You don't want to get caught in a flush if they're going to be nasty with the divergence between the two. Come on, ES, get going for us. So lots of sellers stacked up here. 55, 60, 65, 80s, 90s, and 300s. Already paid myself a little bit. We've developed a new little shelf up here. Why does this volume look so shit today? What is going on? It looks awful. It's really undetailed today. AMD ripping? Yeah, I mean, I can show you my AMD swing. I'll see how much I'm up today now. Here we go. This is my AMD swing. From last year, I entered this. Hello. What a move. What a move. So I'm up. Apple, I'm up 28.5%. Amazon, I'm up over 21%. AMD, now 112 and a bit percent. Oracle, 30%. Meta, 15.5%. Robinhood, just under 18%. Microsoft, 8.5%. Netflix, just under 7%. IBIT, 21.22%. My ETFs, I'm up just under 10%. Nike, I'm up 0.5%. And what am I down on? I'm down on UUU, USAR. I'm using those as a bit of a hedge. And the gilts. I've started buying some gilts in case we start getting rate cuts in the UK. Just starting small, and I'm going to keep adding into them as they start to go down until it's about 10% of my portfolio, just so that I make 3.5%, 4% a year in a down year. That's the only reason it's a hedge for me. Okay, coming back to these 920s, if they don't hold this, it will be a problem. They have to hold this level again. ES is failing VWAP. That's the big problem. I will not give this room underneath 920s. I will just take the rest of the position off. The divergence is going to make it very, very hard. You bought INTC a few months ago. Oh, that's great. I've got a member of my chat who bought into INTC about 10 years ago, and he's been underwater for a long time. So this year's been a great year for him. 220s, did I say 920s? Oh my God, just put me out of my misery. All right, about to get out of this. If they wash this, I'm out. There we go, out now. And that is all due to ES failing. All right, that's all due to ES failing its VWAP. So we're back down to that New York Open. I'm out of this now. Give it a go. Try to hold on in case we did the full rotation. Out of this now. And this is all down to ES. You can see this is the difference right now. Remember, big, big, big divergence. All right, ES poked its all-time high, just failed VWAP. All right, so we're in lower high, lower lows, lower time frame on ES. It might want to go for gap fill. We're nothing like that on NQ. We are absolutely nothing like that. We are higher time frame bullish after a breakout, and we can be bullish all the time. We are above this from a higher time frame perspective, above this blue line. All right, all the time we're above this, we're higher time frame bullish. We lose this, there's a rotation. So a huge, huge difference between these charts right now. Unfortunately, just to make it extra hard for us, that's what we're seeing. I don't see why this is not printing very well today. This looks awful, TradingView. In fact, I might just reload it in case that's struggling. Give me a second. Is it not even going to reload now either? There we go. God, this is delayed. Wow. All right, still inside the opening range. You can't hear me. Well, then there's something wrong with your speakers. All right, 210s holding, VPOC holding. Not in anything now, just waiting. Just waiting. Yes, looks like it's trying to break down here. VIX doing absolutely nothing. Qs are stuck under this big cool wall up here. We just haven't been able to get back up there for a revisit in New York. So if they're going to be really nasty, they'll come underneath this blue box and fill this back down to here. I don't think we get that today, unless we get a news event. That would mean giving all the gains back on on all the MAG. I don't think we're going to do that. MAG's nicely up as equally weighted. We're 0.75% up. Tesla up 2.16% today. Nvidia's up 1.14%. Microsoft's up 1.04%. Meta's up 0.60%. Google's up down 1/3%. Amazon's up 1.5%, and Apple is down 0.69%. So we look okay as a MAG. The week one there, Apple, like we talked about, it took out that pivot that we marked out. You've made your money in the demand zone at 182. This grey box. So you bought the grey box and you sold up there. Nice. Yeah, very simple. Simple move. I didn't want to trade that. I had it set out, but I didn't want to trade it on the morning drive. I just wanted to, given the divergence, let it settle out. We're stuck between box to box. The Lewis Hamilton, all right? Box. We're just stuck between these right now. If we lose this box, we're going to come to this box. If we go over this box, we're going to go for price discovery. At the moment, we're in a range. We're inside the Globex range right now. My least favorite thing to do, being stuck in a range. It's what we do most of the time in the market. I like it when we leave a range. You had Tesla and INTC calls overnight. I've made 5 racks. I'm out, brother. Nice, man. Congratulations, that's awesome. Oh, that's very kind of you. Reptile sending 1 gift membership. Who picked that up? Gospel? Very kind of you. Did any of you get the short after the stream yesterday that we took? Did any of you get that? I called it for you on the stream. It literally happened very, very quickly after I left. Maybe some of you got it. Yes, lots of you getting it. Really nice. So we're tapping into value area high here. Again, it's the same kind of thing as earlier. Can they hold in base? They're trying to get going now. This is all about ES. Can ES get through the VWAP? It will really make a big difference here if ES can get through the VWAP. It's still not through the VWAP. Still looks like a 5-minute bear flag for a breakdown on ES right now. It was a solid trade yesterday. I mean, it was really nice. I can show you guys what we took. So some of you might have taken, remember up here, we had a low volume node, and I said if they reject this, if you remember, I was looking for the short. I couldn't get it because we moved away from it. I wanted to be short up against this. That was the prime entry. It was here. I joined afterwards. So we got the flush. We built this out, and I joined there. Remember, in here, with the big buyers, the 1,000 lot buyers from, was it here? It was here, wasn't it? Because we dropped down and reprinted it. Was from here in the morning. Once we flipped them into sellers, right, we caught this whole move all the way down, and I covered the 70s or 20s. Sorry, I covered the 20s, 720s, which was current weak point of control at the time. Really good move, 270 point move. And then locked in a payout with Lucid with that, and did a little video last night to show you. I couldn't believe Lucid paid me in under 1 minute last night. So from me pressing request payout to it hitting my bank was 1 minute. Insane. All right, here we go. They're poking opening range high again. So they're trying. ES is trying to get back over VWAP and New York Open. This is a big level for the market. They have to make their decision up here. If we get over all of this, we're going to be pretty bullish for the day, I would say. If we get over this grey box, at the moment we're just in the range between it. You're in longs right now. As long as you're positioned from a good area, you look good. I would just keep one eye on that ES. It still can't get through VWAP. Every poke up there is failing right now. So it's stuck between New York VWAP and 24-hour VWAP. How many times have we said that this week? Every single morning. And it still looks like it can be a bear flag for me on ES. It's a one thing. The RBS zone, remember, is down here. If they want to flush it, it's down here. Saw my shit step post. I mean, I've warned you guys about them for a while, honestly. I try not to badmouth people, but they are a joke. They are a joke. You've got to watch out when you've got guys running companies who are assholes like that. They're going to fuck you. You know. Big egos, we're the best, we're this, we're that, and then you copy everyone else. Oh, so you're not any of those things you said, are you? No, you're not. You fucked everyone. You fucked absolutely everyone. You fucked your affiliates. I wasn't one of them, by the way, so I'm not bitter, but they fucked their affiliates who got them big. They fucked their live traders when they started stopping live traders moving as much over. They changed their pricing scheme. They fucked all the data providers or your Ninja Traders, your Tradeify, your wealth charts, your rhythmic stuff. They fucked all of them over to try and steal their data so that they could make it FZT&x only, because they own it. They own, and so they every other firm left them, and now they fucked all of you guys who trade with them as well, because they've made sure that you have it's more expensive and you have less payouts. Great. What's the point? What futures firm is the best then? Honestly, at the moment, I think Lucid is probably the number one in the space. I think in terms of customer service, back-end dashboard, speed of payout, and rules, they're probably number one, guys. TPT is very good for daily payouts. I love TPT for daily payouts, as you know. But it is trailing drawdown in the pro account until you get past the buffer. So for newer traders, maybe that's a little bit harder. Tradeify is also very good, but I think Lucid probably has the edge at the moment. And then after that, you've probably got Apex funded next. My funded futures also very good. No, I'm not doing funded seat. They keep asking me to do a deal with them, but I won't work with people until they work with Tradeify. There is a reason for that. There is a reason for that. Tradeify and Ninja are very, very fussy who they work with. They do a lot of due diligence. Even to be a partner with Ninja, which I am, they do a lot of due diligence on you. And I think that's a good thing for an industry which doesn't have that much regulation. It probably cuts out a lot of bullshit. All right, we're starting to break down here. So ES looking like it is about to take the low. We're about to do the same here. So failing up here. If they fail this grey box, we're going to come to blue box. This is a potential dip buy area. If they fail this blue box, then we're back into range. Remember, this is our RBS zone. If they fail this blue box, we can do a huge gap fill. So we're coming into previous day high. These are areas where I'm interested in being a buyer. I'm interested in being a buyer in here, all right? But I will need to see something like this or something like this, okay? And I'll start trying to position myself long here. If we lose this blue box, if we don't see a buy opportunity here and we flip it, we will be looking for a short back down to close these gaps, okay? So, and previous day value area high. So how we act in this area here becomes key, absolutely key now. The ES is weak. ES looks like it's probably going to want the gap fill at the moment. I'm not convinced we get a gap fill on NQ. It means a trade right back to 935, but it's not out of question. But it's basically a 200-point trade down. Or 150 point down. Okay, previous day high tagged here. We're into Globex high. We're into that sort of London breakout zone. And we'll see now, do we flip this box for shorts? Is this profit-taking day? ES is getting closer and closer to filling its gap right now. If you're trading the QQQ, you're basically watching where we are now, 57 down to 56 for you guys trading the ETF. Keep your eye on VIX. It's starting to perk. It's held 19s. It looks like it's looking for that break above 1940s. If it gets that break, it will look for 20s. Lots of sellers piling in here at the moment, folks. Lots and lots and lots of sellers. No long position yet. We're still in a sell right now, but we're coming into an area of interest. It doesn't mean it becomes a long. It might be that they fail all the way back down here and we'd join shorts if they do that. The divergence this morning, absolutely notable. All right, ES very close to filling its gap. SPY's got a little bit further to go here. So weakness in the spiders, strength in the Qs. We're in an RBS zone. SPY's into its gap fill territory. What's my stop loss on points? You can't do a fixed stop loss on points, my friend. All right, you have to have a stop loss where a trade is no longer valid, and then you size according to that. Good soaking down there. That's a reclaim of previous day high. I'm watching this now. If we push and pull, if we push and pull back and hold, I'm going to look to get long here. Back into the opening range here. ES didn't quite close the gap. So one thing that's got me a little bit spooked at the moment. But if we start holding this previous day high, it's going to start to make me want to get long because we've just absorbed a shit ton of selling down here. All right, look at all these big sellers getting absorbed. So if we start to hold these imbalances, I will look to position long for the move back up. But we're going to have to ideally wait for a SPY to fill its gap, which it just about missed. Well, SPY actually missed by a while, but ES didn't miss by much. ES needs to come and fill 43 to be efficient. We hit 45. Here's the trade back into opening range. So we'll see. I'm going to see if we can get long down here. Maybe some of you guys are already long. Oh my God, don't leave the station without me. Do not leave the station without me. We waited patiently for this. Do not leave the station without me. Please. 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 We need some form of confirmation here. Maybe we don't. Maybe we're just going to rip and Alex is going to laugh. So any pullback which starts to hold, those sellers start getting aggressive at 55, 65 and 55. So if we start to hold this, I'm going to look to position long. I need to see more selling coming in and someone on the tape willing to hold it. Because we can still trade lower at this point. We still haven't filled the gap, but I'm watching now in case this is the end of it. Put a feeler on long here, very small size in case we're about to go because we're back inside that opening range. If we get through the view up here, we can really get going. It's a big seller here, keeps reloading at 85, so I want to be very careful of him. We'll get through that. I think we're going to lift to 210s. So this 85 seller, we're through him. Let's base over him and go 210s now. Moving stop up as well. Nice. Here we go. Can we get up to 210s? 204s to 210s. We're thick in a cluster of sellers here. We just popped a lot of stops here, so I want to be careful. I've moved my stop into the money. Risking the opening range now. Come on, let's get through the 210s and then flip VPOC. Move my stop up a little bit more. Sellers are up at 250. Just going to try and let this work out now. Hands are off. This is what I wanted to see. This is what we're looking for today, remember. And if we can get back above this node here, back above 23s, we can really get motoring to the upside. But again, the one problem is ES is banging on its VWAP, which it's been doing all morning. It needs to get above it, right? ES needs to get above its VWAP for us to really get going. So be careful here. My stop's in, out. Wicked me out there. This might be a stop run. I might be willing to get back in now if we hold again. This is the news print, remember. Consumer sentiment, which I can't imagine is going to be good. So out on the runner. We'll be willing to reload if we absorb. There's lots of buyers on the tape down here, down to 35, trying to absorb this tape. I would feel much more confident about this long back up with size if ES fills its gap. All right, if we can get an efficient market. All the time we are above 56s, sellers are stuck. Right, all the time we're above 56s, sellers are stuck. Waiting to see if I want to get back in here. There are bids lower, so we'll see. Is there a big boy on the tape? Let me just check. 85s, not really. Not really. I don't think they want it much lower on NQ at the moment. I really don't. Okay, we just held that same level. All right, I'm going to have to get back in here. Here we go. Hotkeying away to make sure I try and get filled here. Here we go. Thank you. Here we go. All right, so second attempt here. All right, peeling some off. We'll see if we can get through value area high. If we can get over this node, you can see the importance of this node. Once we get over this node, we can get going. So second attempt here. Paid myself a bit first attempt. Paid myself a little bit here. Like I said, there's no buying lower, and they started to walk up. So the tape telling the story here. We need to base over the 10s to 20s. So 2 10s to 2 20s, same as earlier. Paid myself again, moving my stop up again. We'll see if we can get going again. Second attempt, same trade. ES is going to be the pain here, folks. I'm telling you. If you're looking at ES and VWAP, that is the problem right now. We have relative strength in the queues. They don't really want this lower. But if they can't get the move and too many bulls pile in, we will wash back down because we haven't filled a gap. So like I said, being careful here because ES has still got that gap fill potential. But we're sticking to our plan. And if it fails, it's okay. We've paid ourselves some money. We stick to our plan and we wait for the next trade. Seller here at 200. I'd like to see us take him out. 134 lot. He's legit because he's walked down. I don't want to lose the bid at 180 here. We're about to lose this bid. Here's the 80. I'll cut this under 80 because we're flush to 50. This is opening range. They've got to hold this opening range. My stop's right here. You're about to take me out, aren't you? Yep. And again, I'll get in again if it sets up again. I'll keep looking for the same trade all the time. It's valid. Above, remember, above 56s, we keep sellers stuck. Above 64s is ideal. But I was a bit late on that last entry, so I don't want to give money back. And again, remember, ES yet to fill its gaps. Very close now to filling its gaps, coming down for a second attempt. So if it does fill its gap, we might get a little wash deeper in here. So just be aware of that. I've cut this long again now. So I've had 2 attempts. I'm up on both attempts, but I haven't been able to get the runner to go yet. That's the story this morning. Lost 750 to ES, it will flush. I don't think that's the level, mate. So for me, the gamma levels were 160, 165. The support actually on ES were positive over 140. Gap fill is to 43. So it doesn't need to do a big fail here, ES. It can come and fill its gap, find a bid on the high volume node at 140 and print upside. I would say you start seeing pressure under 135. Under 135, you see weakness in ES. You're not under that yet. Right, so calling for a giant flush, I don't know what giant means to you, but just all I'm saying is if you're short in this in ES, fine. You're short in relative weakness. You're under both VWAPs. Makes sense. But it can just fill its gap and maybe a little wash under and find a bid. So don't be thinking we're going all the way downtown because we're not seeing that right now. It's just a pullback. Oh, they're going to bid it again. Well, that's too quick for me. They're testing this guy at 200. What creates a super fast candle? Liquidity. Liquidity. When they get aggressive or when someone's stuck, that's what creates a super fast candle. It's volume. All right, it's volume coming in, or it's trading it through. It doesn't have to be big volume. It can be trading through a thin volume level. I'm getting ready to see if we're going to go again here. We're testing this seller at 200, 140 lot seller at 200. And like I said, once we get over 20s, we're going to get going. All right, we've popped through him. He's lifted a bit. He's added some more liquidity at 10s. So they're searching for 10s and then 50s right now, looking for an entry here if possible. ES, again, still hasn't filled its gap and is banging on VWAP wall. So still not in here. Maybe I might have to wait for us to lift through 10s and 20s and then join on a pullback after that. I might have to wait for a lift and a pullback if I can't get in before. So I might have to wait for a lift and a pullback and then go for here. It's looking good. There's your 10s. Can we get through 10s and 20s? Stuck up there at 10s and 20s again. So I'm going to have to wait for that. I have to wait for us to get through that node at the moment. So this is what I'm watching is over here. Right, we're very close to gap fill. All right, and we're positive gamma. And if we come under gap fill, hello, there we go. So we're stuck at VWAPs, 24-hour New York. We can't get over it. So if they come for gap fill, they might wash this and then find the bid. If we come under this, then I think you see weakness in ES, not beforehand. I think this can be a pullback to hold. Right, under this, failures. All right, so if the market's efficient, it's going to make our life much easier trading NQ, because then it's got no reason to go lower at that point, right? I'm going to ignore you guys saying silly stuff. If you can't zoom out of the higher time frame and you're saying something which quite clearly isn't true right now, it is not a short day until we are under this blue box. If you look at the H1, you are categorically incorrect. All right, that's not my opinion, it's a fact. All right, the higher time frame, you get under the blue box, I will agree with you, we can be in a short day rotation. This is a big RBS level. All the time that's holding, the H1 and the daily are saying, hey, we don't want to go down. That's a fact. I didn't make the rules, that's just the rules. Okay, we're starting to see a buyer get a little bit caught up here into 200. So there's 167 lot right now caught up there. We're just in a very tight range right here, right, from 177 to top side 32s. So we're holding this range. Trying to help you out, guys. Like, remember, I don't need to be right. You'll see me take stops every day on stream. You'll see me take losses, but I will stick to the rules. Right now, higher time frame absorption level is this blue box. It's an RBS zone. That's why we had it marked out. We are not technically short higher time frame until we get under that level. Under that level, we can talk about a look above and fail having taken place. Over that level, it's not what we're seeing. All right, here we go. Watching the 10s and 20s to see if the market wants to get above it to give me an entry to get long. Otherwise, there's nothing to do. We're just banging into this zone over and over again. But if we can get above 210s, 220s, and we see some good absorption on a pullback in, I will start to position myself long. So banging on this New York Open right now. How did I draw the blue box? I go and look at an H1 level and go and draw out the resistance from the last few days. All right. What is the most basic form of trading? Resistance becomes support. Okay, so I'll just do it for you. Hopefully I don't miss the trade while I teach you. All right, here we go. There's your H1. All right, this is exactly the same as here. Resistance, breakout, pullback, became support. Breakout, pullback, they washed, ran the stops, became support. Resistance, breakout, pullback, becomes support. All right, we expect continuation. We get weakness underneath this, not before. Oh, I'm going to miss the fucking trade talking. This is why I shouldn't teach. This is why I shouldn't answer the questions. Oh my God. Okay. Oh! Don't teach. Don't teach. Don't argue with people who need help, Alex. All right. We're seeing... It's a short day. For fuck's sake. I'm just annoyed with myself there. I fucking knew this was going to come and happen. All right, let's see if we can pull back into 20s now. Probably not, because we've caught all the shorts. You got the long... As long as you guys get paid, eh? All right, so you guys got paid. You got given the levels ahead of time. What we were looking for ahead of time. We've got imbalances all the way down into 91s here. But ideally, the pullbacks hold sort of the teens here, anywhere into the New York Open, and ideally ES gets going. All right, but we're still just trading from one side to the other. Look, value area low, value area high. All right, we're still trading between the two, but if we can start to catch a bid here, they've got a chance. So we're watching these 20s and 10s to see if I can reload. I want to be careful. I want to see some bids turn up here. See if I can try and get long. They're not really walking up yet, these bids. They're starting now. All right. Can we pull back a little bit more first? Just want to see a few more sellers get caught. There's passive selling at 45s and 50s. Let's see if we can come back in here and give me ability to get long. I want to be careful because we're inside value for the day. So we can just rotate. And ES is not through VWAP or point of control yet. It's pulling back off it again. So relative strength in the Qs, relative weakness in ES. Starting to see this hold now, starting to feather in here. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. To see if we can take out these 50s, 65s, 75s, 80s. We're looking for the 70s and above. Here we go, folks. Let's see. So we're in this long now. We just see. And I will cut it again, and I'll reload again if we come back down to 10s to 200s. If I've timed this off and they're not going to squeeze. So passive selling here at 50s, all the way up to 70s. Remember, gamma's at 70s. Once we get over this grey box, I'm telling you, once we get over this grey box, we can have a go at all-time highs, not beforehand. All right, so we're being cautious here. We've been long here. We're peeling some off here, and we can add here for this move here if it comes today. Thanks for teaching. Sorry you missed it. I made 500 across 5 accounts done for the day. Well, I'm back in now, so it's okay. It's okay. You can see, it's exactly what I said, right? Boom! Here we go. So peeling some off into this move here. We've just caught 175 buyers up here, popping those stops. So coming back into the 70s. We know this is gamma, so we're going to take some off into this, and we can reload if we get above and pull back in. This is what I literally drew this out for you today, right? I drew it out that we're interested down here. There's the wash. There's your higher low. There's the high low above the 20s and 10s. This is the target. Above here, we can think about a high low again for a reload and go. All right, so again, I try and teach you as I go. That's the difference on this channel compared to the other channels. I will try and teach you. What's the gray box? It's, yeah, well, you can call it resistance. It's a high volume node that we created in Globex. All right, so this, you see this and this is where buyers are currently caught. So in Globex, they bid here and they try to buy again. So buyers are caught here, they become supply, and we have gamma. So you pay yourself some into here. If we get above this and pull back and hold, we can think about that all-time high move. Again, it's not a short day, whoever said that. Hopefully, that's not me being an arrogant prick. I'm trying to help you. I've made every mistake in the book. With real cash, I've blown tens of thousands of dollars. I'm just trying to help you folks. All right, pay yourself up here. Ideally, we pull back and hold value area high now. All right, ideally, we hold these nodes into 30s if you're in runners for expansion. But anything that comes back under 20s, you just leave it alone at this point. All right, because ES has just rejected New York. You can see the gamma here. It's a big level. It's why we pay ourselves into these levels. If you only trade one micro, would you recommend scalping the moves or holding more for the trail? Definitely hold for more. Like if you're trading one, right, then for example, if you were trading one micro, right, you could have taken the long here, right? You're small enough size to say, hey, I'm going to risk down here. All right, so that's your risk because you're trading small enough size. For example, I'm giving you an example. All right, and then you can wait and see, right, if we can get over this. All right, so maybe you just take the whole position off here and you either rebuy this or you wait and see if we get over and you rebuy this. Or if you're convinced we're coming up for all-time highs, you hold the whole thing. But I mean, on a Friday, I'm always a bit more skeptical for full moves. But I wouldn't be scalping 5-10 points and stuff. I mean, I don't do that full stop, right? It might be your first time joining me on stream. I am looking for bigger moves. All right, I'm looking to actually trade what's available based on liquidity. All right, I'm not looking I might say take a partial here and stuff to make sure you're locking in, but I'm not looking to like trade from here to here. Like some traders will, especially guys on YouTube, will look for that for some reason, right? Where I know this is available if we can base, right? So I'm trying to capture as much of this move as possible, and if we get above this, as much of this move as possible. I might not get all of it, but I try and get as much of the meat off the bone as I can, rather than I'm just going to have a little bite of a chicken nugget, right? No, if there's a turkey available, I want all its breast and maybe some of the leg meat, right? I don't want to make a little chicken nugget out of it. That's just how I trade. You don't have to trade like me. Like I said, there's lots of ways to bake a cake. That's how I trade, though. All right, here we go. So you got to get through these 70s. This is the big level now. ES now above its VWAPs. The question is, can ES get back above the New York Open? If we can, it's got a shot. So 165, the next level above New York Open. And then I think it's going to look for 185s today on ES. If you can base above this New York Open, 185s is your target if we're going to start trending today for that upside move. Am I still holding? Yeah, I've got a little piece left. I want to add size if we can get above this grey box and base, right? So that's going to be my add, right? Because remember, I've tried to explain this to you today, right? You have to zoom out. This was the pullback that we faded yesterday. This was the liquidity grab. This was the hold of range. Fail breakout of range, other side of range. Breakout, pullback. Okay, zoom out. Resistance, right? Resistance becomes support. All right, none of the ICT bollocks or anything like that. Just keep it real simple. That now becomes support. All right, so this morning is your pullback leg to attempt to go higher. If we fail under this support system, this will be a look above and fail. We can think about shorts under here, right? We're not thinking about shorts and the market searching for all-time highs above these levels. Same as yesterday. You need people trapped to really think about pro trend shorts. Otherwise, you're scalping shorts. All right, if we come back down and fail this last wick, I'll take it out. I'll take the runners off. Yeah, still not through its New York Open. Thanks, Thomas. Yeah, I'm glad you're learning. It's the biggest honestly, it's the biggest mistake traders make. Me included when I was learning. Especially, I tell you what, I look back to my early career trading small caps and I just think, what the were you doing, son? What were you doing? Never once looking at hourly levels or anything like that. Just marking out liquidity on dailies and being like, once we take that, we're going to sweep and come inside. No, we're not. We're going to squeeze you, Alex, and you're going to lose again. Whereas now, for me, H1, I'd say it all the time, is God mode. If we take this wick, I'm out. I've moved my stop up a bit here. If we take this wick, I'm out. We can come back down into the 10s. I'm not going to give my runner more room than this. If they don't protect this low, I'm out. And it doesn't look like they want to protect it right now, given what the buyers are doing underneath. They're stacking 25s to 200, and then they're stacking 85s to 75s. So maybe I'll get lucky here. But if we move basically to that POC, the red line, my stop's basically there. Yes, again, rejecting that New York Open. So a divergence continuing to play out here this morning to make it a little bit tricky for us. Saw me drop into Pine last night. Yeah, normally, like when I have a good week, I go and give Pine, normally tip Pine or give some money to Pine so he can either use it for evals or give it away. I really like him. I think he's an honest trader. I like that he keeps it simple. He trades inside bars. I like inside bars. If you understand what an inside bar is, it's just a pullback bar, and then you're looking for expansion. I just think he's a good dude. I just think he's a good dude. He's not flashy, and I respect that. So I normally, last night I didn't tip him, but normally you would, if you've been in there before, once every few weeks I normally go in and just drop some money and say hello. Paying forward, as we would call it. I won't say it. You got to pay forward. No one used to do that to me, but it's important to do it. We don't do it because other people do it to us. We do it because it's important to put that energy out there. All right, we're looking good here. They're trying to build this right shoulder. All right, they're trying to base to build this right shoulder. It just depends if ES is going to play ball here. Can we play ball here? ES is trying to play ball. It's tapping on towards the New York Open again. Here we go. Come on, baby. You've just about kept me in by a point or two. That it will be a change to the usual stream, won't it? If it keeps me in by a point or two. Normally it runs me out by a point or two. So we've got liquidity here, 65 up to 300 on the book. So we've got to pop all these stops at 65s. We've got to get through that gamma level at 70. This is the biggest wall of today. All right, huge. Huge wall. In fact, it's more than just, it's absolute GEX. So it's total, it's the biggest wall for puts and calls as well. So it's a big level. Highest open interest. Over that, we're a squeeze potential. Otherwise, it's just a target. You've never heard of him? Well, he's a smaller influencer. I mean, he's where I was a year ago. You never know why you catch fire on YouTube, but I think he trades live on My Funded Futures Monday to Friday for half an hour, but he normally trades Globex. It's normally when I'm about to stop out here. It's normally when I'm editing videos or marking up my charts or stuff like that. And I'll be on YouTube and I see it says he's live and then it reminds me to go in and say hello. All right, about to stop out here. You're literally on my tick. There we go. I'm out. And we'll see if this reloads. I will look for another trade if it sets up. I want to be careful now. We're back inside the midpoint of the opening range. We're at the New York Open. ES again has failed to get back above its New York Open. So there's sell pressure on ES, buy pressure on NQ. MAG still looks good. It's looking very healthy on the MAG. How do you spell his name? Pine. P-I-N-E. Very simple, no hype. Exactly that. Exactly that. Inside bars is what he trades, I think. I think that's pretty much what he does. What indicator do I use for this opening range? For me, this is just part of my Flow Zone Pro. But, I mean, there are tons of indicators for the opening range. It's just the first 15 minutes. Look, you can just mark it out by hand. You can just get the first 15-minute candle and just do that. That's your opening range. Pine Tree. You might be Pine Tree. Pine Tree. I don't know. His code is Pine. I don't know. I could have a look on YouTube in a minute. You know who I mean. He always has a cap. Trading from his a house most of the time. Okay, still. So ES is now stuck between its VWAPs and the New York Open. It's waiting to get going. I'm now out of this. Locked in money a few times today. We will just have to wait for a reload here. I don't want to buy the top side of this range. The Momo is starting to look good for a lift, but it's been a bit dull again today. But look, VIX is back under 19, filled its gap, back under 19. If VIX starts drifting lower, hopefully ES can catch a bid and we can go into that slow grind higher. You've got to wonder if these buys are going to be absolutely beautiful down here today. Look at that, under previous day high. Do we just do one of these all day long until we get to here? It's very possible. It's very possible, but we'll see. Depends how they want to close this week out. Like I said, chips have absolutely been on fire for 18 days now. You get analysis paralysis. Yeah, just simplify it. Like, my charts are messy because I try and have stuff on here to help you guys, but like you can simplify it lots of ways. Look, you could just trade. You could even take the GEX off. Right? You could just make it simple. Are we above a breakout level? Yes. Are we above previous day's value area high? Yes. Okay, so we're moving value up. So are we in a breakout on the daily? Yes. Okay, so we're looking for buys. All right, so we don't want to buy up here. We're looking for buys to move back up there. All right, you can make it simple. Above this, moving value higher. Inside this, we're in a rotation. Below this, we're in weakness. All right, you can make it simple like that. Or you could just use the flow zones and be like, what is the momentum? You could move out to like a 2-minute chart or something, clean it up a little bit. Just focus on the momentum, right? What is the structure? All right, structure, lower time frame has been down, but we're coming into a higher time frame demand. So if we've now shifted this and structure is up, then we're looking for buys. We're above both VWAPs, we're looking for buys, right? Keep it simple that way. Lots of ways to do it. You've got to find something that works for you. This looks a bit messy because I try and have everything on so you can see it. So you can see the volume, the value areas from the previous day, the key horizontal levels, and the GEX levels. It can look messy, but saves you guys money. Starting to move sideways, yeah. Like we said, we're struggling at value. We can't get through this level here yet. I'm now out of it. So we were long here, we were long here, and we were long in this pullback here. So we've had 3 attempts at it. And I'm done with it now and let this build out in this range. It can chop this range for a little bit. Bias is still upside overall. All the time we're above this blue box. Below that blue box, everything changes. And again, we should remind ourselves, swirling news headlines. AMD ripping faces, yeah, it is. I mean, like I said, I'm up. How much am I up in that? I mean, look. This is my AMD trade now. That's not options. That's common stock. It's wild. Wild. They just positioned well last year. And just letting it work. Nice, yeah. Welcome to the team. Everyone is new. How many monitors do I use? 4 big wide screens and then a small pad to see you guys on the chat. You bought with me 2 at 158. Yeah, it's been a killer trade. Just make sure you pay yourself. The forward PE ratio on it is ridiculous right now. So like we are extended. We are heavily extended. All right, we are heavily extended. All right, this needs to come back in. It is as simple as that. If we just think about this move here. All right, we've completed the 100%. Think about this flag. This was liquidity build. All right, we've completed that. That's the 100%. Anything above here is a bonus, but you better be paying yourself as a trade because really this has got to come back in and retest this. We've yet to retest it since this huge gap out. So just be aware of that. There will likely be a day where we get a blow off. It might be later in the year, but you'll be pissed if you haven't paid yourself something up here. That's all I'd say. And then if we come back into anywhere towards this range, we can reload. But yeah, I bought this. I was down here, I think, somewhere in here, accumulating. You can see, like, when we think about fractals, right? This is exactly the same, right? Liquidity built, pull back in, undercut, reclaim, pull back, right shoulder. Thanks very much. Thanks very much. All right, stay with the trend. The main trend is up. But pay yourself along the way. Don't miss the trade. I'm not missing anything. This can come right back down. It's fine. I'm patient now, and I'm not seeing anything I like in the market at the moment. We're trading inside of value, so this is becoming more of a session for range traders at the moment. All right, we're trading top side. Can't get through this. This is holding as resistance right now. This is support 1. This is support 2, and we're just ranging in here. What's my DJ name? Well, I don't DJ anymore. I was in a duo, which is now a single thing called Tough Love. I do have my own artist name. I've got a few different aliases, to be honest. How do I size full position versus runners ratio and cover at each? Depends on what's available, mate, and whether it's an A+ trade. So like here, all right, I might be like, it depends on the account size. If you're playing micros, I'll be like 1 or 2 micros in here, all right? And then when we start to go, how I like to trade is add into the momentum and then peel off. So like 1 or 2 here, starts to break out and firm up. Maybe 1 more in here, does the same, 1 more in here, peeling off core position. Need to be careful because your average moves up. If you're trading micros on a 50K at the moment, you would have seen like I'm not trading micros because, you know, I'm in my Lucid account, almost 13,000 up. So I don't need to be trading micros right now. And I'm trading 150K TPTs as well. So play my music during streams? No, because then I have to give all my money to the record labels that own the music. So I don't want to do that. And it would just annoy you. Meanings are risky. Well, they're not any riskier than micros. They just require bigger account sizes. Lucid payout levels 2K for me is quite low. Yeah, but like it's 2K every 5 days, mate. And once I get up to 5 accounts, it's 10K every 5 days. And you do that 6 times, and then you move 8, 16, 24, 32, 48 to live. I mean, you say it's quite low, but I would say turning $100 into 13,000 and paying yourself 2,000 of that every 5 days. It's a pretty good return on investment. So freaking tight. Yeah, that was me. All right, back to the bottom side of this grey box. ES still hasn't closed its gap. Still no close on the gap. Still just sort of basing out here. So under both VWAPs now, underneath value area low now, seeing sell pressure coming into the market, but not breaking down under the RBS. We're basically at the midpoint of the initial balance, which is now set. But at the moment, if you're a range trader, you'd be looking for it to trade back inside of the range or reject the range. You are seeing sell pressure start to enter the market a little bit to try and attack these lows again. ES is no man's land. There is, at the moment, I'm looking at this being like, I don't see a good setup right now. We rejected the 270s, that cool wall. There's a good chance we break lower if the sell pressure can walk down and reject this grey box here back into the blue box. And then we just have to see what happens at the blue box. Do they buy it again, or do we turn this into a failed breakout on a Friday? I would be somewhat surprised for them to do that on a Friday unless we have major news. But you never know. Seeing news hit the headlines here as well. Expanded US clearance efforts may take months and prolonged outbound traffic disruption. Elevated for 702 vessels in Persian Gulf amid Iranian threats. If we keep seeing stuff like that, it's possible we go risk off. Just 8 vessels crossed yesterday. Oof. Talks in Islamabad will be bilateral. No US participant is expected. Iranian officials to stay in Islamabad only for a few hours. Well, didn't they say they weren't going? Yeah, not seeing much. Not seeing much. Not much of a setup at the moment. Apex or TPT, which one is better? They're just both different, mate. TPT is great for daily payouts. Apex is great for scaling 20 accounts. They are different. What do I think about the parabolic movements in the memory sector? Seagate, SanDisk, Micron, are they still worth buying or are they worth shorting? I mean, this is just part of the rotation right now for earnings. I would, you don't want to be a buyer up here. I mean, look, you had your opportunity this year already, and even then, like, yeah, I don't think you want to be a buyer up here. I think what we're going to see in this market is a very volatile year. So I think at the moment we'd probably like to see some form of blow off, and then some like major correction, and then grind back out. And this correction probably more likely to happen towards the end of the year at the moment. We're in like piling in risk on at the moment at a stupid rate at stupid levels. Like I said, like the tech ETFs have had some of the biggest trades ever in history in this cluster here the last few days. Yeah, you don't want to be buying up here. You just don't. You just don't want to be buying an all-time high, especially in a sector which is already up huge. So I would be rather looking at healthcare and energy, which are yet to find a bid, which are starting to find a bid, right? So if we look at like Oscar Health, right, I'd be looking at the sectors which have yet to find a bid, which are starting to find a bid, right? Like I missed this dip down here, unfortunately. So I'll be looking at stuff like that, or right, some of these. I'm long in these at the moment because they've got room, right? This might look like too high, but it's got room for recovery. That's how I buy. I like buying value. I don't want to buy momentum on swing at big levels. Like wait for me, I'd rather wait for it to come back in. Wait for those to come back in and reload. All right, so grey box again. So box to box again. Still holding value. Still ES can't get above its New York Open. Looks like algo volume at each 10 interval above the 200 again. Above the 200. Above 200, you mean? Probably. Stacking up, stacking down. Yeah, you can see it at 65s and 55s as well. We're just trapping both sides here. I said just be patient. I wouldn't be surprised, like, if ES keeps failing here, to see a wash back down into this blue box again. And then, you know, ES, remember, hasn't filled its gap. But we're just at midpoint. There's just, all we're really seeing at the moment is us pinned on the options. We can't get through 660 on the QQQ. And we're just not moving. The bigger move comes above here. We're just pinned. There's fairly tight range. Yeah, IB was set a little while ago. We talked about it. All right, here they go. They're going to try and lift again. There's lots of guys up here. Oh my gosh. They're going to go for it now, are they? ES back into that IB high again. So it's just poked New York Open again. We're still inside of current value on the day. This is washing around both sides, like I said. If pullbacks hold, you know, if pullbacks start to hold here again, you could potentially look at it. But at the moment, we look like a range day. We really just look like a range day. Look how tight we are here. 86s to 40s. So you're in 60 points of range right now. That's your rotation, this blue side of this. You'd have to hold bids above or below, or offers below, to get going. So if they can expand this, they will look to try and come up to that 270. Remember, we've just ripped off this low again. Which is a good sign for buyers, but you'd want pullbacks to now hold. Are there any micro shelves there? We did just hold 24s. Good delta coming in. ES still can't get above its New York Open for now. It's in a 5-minute bar, which is about to close. So that's got to get above the New York Open. And you can see if we can pull back and hold then. They're trying. There's lots of sellers here on the book. 40, 45, 50. 55, 60, 65, 70, 75, 80, 85, 90, 95. These are all like 10 and 20 lots until we get up to 300. So they're looking to try and fill these lot up to 300. So it'd be interesting. Above this grey box, I'm interested a lot. We can see if there's a way of getting involved before then, but again, ES the problem right now. It is above its VWAPs. It's just stuck at that New York Open. Did I ever use Top Step back in the day? I did back in the day before they became such silly people. Any promo on funded next? Yeah, you can use code FZT. Yeah, it does work. It absolutely works. Oh, maybe it doesn't work for the CFDs. I don't know. It should do. But we trade futures here. Why would you trade CFDs? When they can absolutely hurt you with the spread and control the spread because it's not a centralized exchange. Why trade CFDs over futures? All right, ES trying to get over this New York Open. You can see the battleground here. On the book above me, you can see all these passive sellers. Really between 45 and 65 is pretty thick. They're just 20 lot, 20 lot, 20 lot, 20 lot, 20 lot. Is there a video on how to create boxes? Probably on the course. It's just volume, mate. It's just, all you've got to do is look at the volume. Probably in my volume, there's a free volume. If you go on my YouTube, there is a tab on volume and order flow. Just watch the videos on there. I probably talk about it on there. I can't remember because I made some of those videos quite a while ago. Okay, still trying to get through these. Guy just lifted at 45 and ran away. So maybe a squeeze coming here, folks. They're starting to lift higher. We'll see. There's someone pissing about on the book at 45. He might just be an algo. He lifted, came back on, lifted, came back on, and then came on the tape at 35 and 20 to support the bid. I feel like they're going to run this up soon. But yeah, it's getting very tight here. It's not an entry position here, that's for sure. Right at the top of value area high. ES still cannot get a close above that New York Open. It's failing. It literally has not closed once today above the New York Open, the ES. That's how much weaker it is. I feel like what they're doing on the book, sort of saying that they want to squeeze up and fill these orders above, but don't have much confidence in it based on what we're doing. Yeah, this guy's spoofing on the book up here. He's jostling around. He's trying to lift the market higher for whatever reason. You're not seeing bid pressure walk up. These guys at 15s and 20s are not moving up at the moment. The last few days, you would have seen them move up. Maybe they start coming, but here they come. All right, they're coming now. They're supporting 40s now. So there's a bid coming now. So they're going to try and get this squeeze we just talked about. So here's your flag break. And they're going to look for 70s. And then over 70s, they're going to look for 300s. And ES is now above that New York Open. Can it hold a bid up here, though? That is the question. Here we go. They're setting it now. They're going to have a real good go at this now. You would want bids now to hold the top of this range. You do not really want to lose 40s. Ideally, these nodes, 41s and 38s hold for you. Here we go. All right. Is there a way of now getting involved if we're going to break above? What's the code for Lucid? FZT. FZT is the code for every prop firm, other than Take Profit Trader, the code's Flow Zone. Why are you looking for a short? I wouldn't be looking for a short. We haven't talked about shorts all day. Like, we are in a bullish market right now. Look at the H1. We're coming into like a key level, but I really, if we squeeze through the 70s and you're looking for the short, this thing can go to all-time highs. You have to understand, above this grey box, we can go to all-time highs. So if you are long, I'd be peeling some off into 70s, and then I'd be holding, because if we get above 70s, this is the target, and I'm not joking. If we get above this volume here, so if you are still long from down here, or you just added in this flag when I said it looks like they want to squeeze based on the book, all right, you can peel some off here, and if they do that, this is where they want to get to. And maybe these stops here, we can mark these out. It looks good at the moment for you guys. If they keep lifting these orders, it's a good sign. There is a legit seller here at 60. Let's see if he moves. He chased the market down there. He sold 60 and then sold 55s. He's trying to chase it down to 40s now. Here he comes. If you hold value area high, you look good. ES now above new open and breaking out. Okay, this is high day for ES. So ES is starting to get going. So peel some off in this move. And if we break out and hold, then we're looking for all-time highs, right? If you break out and hold, we're then looking for this. High day on ES. Really nice. Beautiful. Here they come. Here's the squeeze. So they're piling in here. Buyers chasing this tape up now. They are chasing the tape up now. So TP1 hit for any of you who took this long here or here, or any of these. TP1 hit, and now you can hold your runners, and if we push and hold, you can reload for this. That's exactly what we talked about all day. They just fannied around a lot. Why does your Bookmap look like less going on than mine? Because you're not using the same settings. Again, go on my YouTube page. There is a video I did on Bookmap on my settings. It will show you everything. Right, so make sure you've paid yourself into this wall. You can see the reaction at this wall. 870 on your funded. What a Friday. Nice work, man. Mark, your magic. Thank you. You're welcome, buddy. You're welcome. Right, pulling back into this area where I said bulls have got to hold the top of this blue, right? They want to hold value. Bulls will not want to lose value. If you lose value, then this will be a failure, and we come back into this chop and slop again. All right, so bulls need to hold this and do this move, right? You do not want this market trading back inside here if you've been bullish, because this will just mean another look above of this range here and a dance back in here again. And this is the sloppy move here. Do I have a discount code for Bookmap? I do, actually. They actually just emailed me a new one. Let me find it for you. Let me find it for you. Yeah, Flowzone Trader 20 will get you 20% off on digital and monthly and global monthly and global plus monthly. Here, so I'll post it in chat. If I can find you guys. There you go. Just posted it. But yeah, I've got to add that. They emailed me yesterday. It's hard, man. Everyone emails you being like, "Hey, can you put me in your link? Can you add this to your video? Can you do this?" It's like, I'm a one-man band. I do the best I can. All right. Look above and fail here. Again, these are the nodes. If they don't support this, you're going to go into range rotation back down. It looks messy to me. We're bullish overall, but this is just messy, messy, messy. It's a good hold. Came a bit deeper than you would have liked. So we went gamma to gamma, C1 to C2. So cool wall 1 to cool wall 2, held it. Still bullish overall. They came deeper though. Shorted the Tyson trade. Just be careful. Be careful. It's a Friday, and these guys, I would not be surprised, higher time frame, if they want to really lift this. Be very, very careful. Do not give this room. to not give it room today. Hopefully, I hope it works for you. It's a legit setup. If you're taking the Tyson trade, you know your risk. Just do not be moving that stop, because these bulls look pretty aggressive on the tape right now. Took a big chunk off at 30s. Nice. Here you go. Right on the IB now. And you're leaving imbalances. These bulls are being pretty aggressive here to try and get up to 300. You can see all the orders up at 300. So still higher lows, right? It's a shame they didn't hold the top of this blue box. They came a little bit deeper into 30, and they're going to try and scream it. They want to get up here is where they want to get. They want to get the overnight high, all-time high, but we can watch. We can mark these out as levels as well. All right, these are levels. Well, these are not volume levels. Let's just do it as red. It's not really supply, but that's a target for them. A lot of liquidity at 15s. Yeah, 610 lot order just came on the book there 2 minutes ago. Kind of wild. I wouldn't be surprised to see him pull that if we come down to it. Again, I'm not in anything right now. Unless we break above that grey box, I'm kind of happy with where I'm at for the day. So on a Friday, we've got an hour and 10 minutes left. Lots of time left. Re-entry long that I like. For me, the only re-entry long at the moment, you could argue this. I don't really want to trade the top side. I actually want them to take this out and do this now. You could argue to be dip buying this right now. Like I said, if they hold the blue box, then I think they do this move. Here we go. I just kind of want to see them settle out here because it's been a pretty decent move up here. There's lots of liquidity up here. You can see all these sellers to keep adding all the way up into 300. They're trying to get the market to move up into them into 300. So if we break above and hold, then I'll be considering getting long. Maybe I should have just bought value area high there at 50s, to be honest, but hard to warrant that. You're still in longs from this morning. Nice. Very, very nice. What other platforms do I use beside Bookmap? Well, NinjaTrader is what I execute on. Over here this is what I execute on. Pretty hard for you guys to see. And then TradingView that you're on at the moment. And that's it for me. I think they're going to try and fill all these sellers. They are stacked up here from where we are now all the way up to 300, and then above there's some excess up there. So I think they're looking for a swipe up to fill everyone. They are being very aggressive here, the bulls. So I think you're going to get a swipe. This is what I'm saying. Here they come. So if you just rebid this or this, you look good. I would just make sure your stop is up here right now. What you don't want is this move here happening. But I think you're going to get a swipe out. There's so much liquidity here. I think they're trying to get this swipe out here to run all these stops. I think you're going to see it. Here come the bulls. They're trying to step on the gas here. New high of day. They are trying to get this break here. They're desperate to like just shove this up and rip all these stops above in this grey box. Bulls on parade. What a tune, man. Such a great song. Is that big buyer left the tape? No, he's still down there. 215, 600 lots still down there. I am surprised they haven't swiped all these guys. Here they come. They're trying again. They're trying to swipe these guys. Optimal entry's gone though. We had the optimal entry this morning in those blue box and grey boxes at the low. So now, for me now, I need to wait for them to rip everyone's faces off and then come back and show me that they're willing to support that level. What do I think about oil? I don't think anything. I don't trade it, mate. So level here, 44s. Yeah, you really don't want to lose these 44s, 47s to 43s. Yeah, you don't really want to lose this. if you were buying down here on the way up, you really don't want to lose this. You'd like them to just support this bid and finish this auction with all these sellers up higher. They're still trying. They're still trying. Here come the bulls again. All right, you're looking for this move up to 300 to 315s. Big buyers coming in here. So just be careful with excess here. But this is the kind of swipe I'm talking about. I think they've got more in it yet. I don't think they're done. There's someone trying to support the bid at 75 yet. They're not done yet. They want more. They are looking for more. They're looking for a big swipe out and then an exit. More buyers supporting the bid at 75s now. Sellers coming in here, 85s, 90s, 95s, 300. That's where they're looking to swipe up. They just want to fill everyone up there. And I'd be taking some profit out into this grey, top of this grey box if I was you, if you haven't already. I'd be very cautious, like I said. If we can't hold this, it'd be very dangerous for you guys who are buying the bid up here. So as long as you're taking profit and you move just stop up to support it, you look good. Do not be buying up here. How do I know when the auction's finished? Well, if they're going to fill all these passive sellers up here, they're going to have some pretty decent size buy side, which is aggressive. And if we then move back away from that, it means we will leave all those aggressive buyers trapped. So we'll be finished when there's lots and lots of excess market buying at the high. I don't think it's done yet. I really don't. And I think we will fill all these orders. ES going for it as well. Here we go. They're tapping into 85. Like I said, here come. There you go. That's what I'm talking about. All right, make sure you're paying yourself into this move. Look, all these stops getting run. There's still more juice here. 95s, 300, and 315s is coming. But move your stop up. Pay yourself into this move. This is exactly what I was talking about. You could see them stacked here. They were just building up to go and run all these stops. And here comes the break. And above this grey box, you've got a shot at all-time high. So this is the liquidity. These are the stops from Globex. And once we pop that, all-time high as possible. So as long as you've been paying yourself into this move here, you look very, very, very good. All right. And this just comes from, if you're like, how do you see, how do you know? Honestly, it's probably years and years of experience of seeing these same things over and over again. You start to get used to how the tape moves and what you're seeing. Not a fake candle ICT tape. That's not tape reading. Actual tape reading. Actually reading tick by tick orders. Right, so what I'd say now is huge buyers piled in at 74s. All right, so you need the bid to support at 74, 75. You start to lose that, then you're going to have excess buyers caught at high of day. All right, so you want to see, if you're going to hold runners, 74s be supported. Otherwise, we will have excess. Why am I getting timed out for quoting rage lyrics at the same time, Alex? Trigger happy mods. It's probably just Nightbot, mate. It's probably not the mods. I don't know. I haven't seen anything. There you go. Someone said it was a mistake and they unbanned you. Relax, everyone. Relax. It's a Friday. We're making money. Let's have some fun. All right, this is the level. If you start losing these levels, then we are going to start trading downside. All the stops got popped at 85s. The big buyers came in at 74s. You're starting to see excess of the high up here. So if we start to roll over under all of this, this will be the sell side back down. I won't be trading this, but if we start to get stuck under this, this will be leaving the buyers stuck for the first time today. I won't be trading that. I've been bullish biased all day. My buying longs now. If we start to support the bid, all right, we got a base here for a while. I'm not going to do it in one move, all right. So what I'd need to see is like this, something like that, and then I'd think about that move here. I'm not just gonna buy that first candle in, not after we've just ripped up, all right. So you have to understand what's happened in that candle. If I take you to Bookmap, because we can fail now. All right, can you guys see this? Yeah. All right. So this is what I was looking at. Right, while we were building in this range here, and let's just put horizontal line. Right, this was the high. Where's my... These dips were absorbing sellers, right? Absorbing sellers. And we had, if you see these horizontal lines, all these horizontal lines are limit order sellers, just stacked, waiting to be filled. So my thesis was, well, with trap sellers down here, we're going to come and fill all these participants up here. It's exactly what we want to do. I'd love a coffee, please. Thanks. And Jess, you turn the aircon off. Thanks. Sorry, folks. Meatloaf! Jess! Meatloaf! Okay, so once we do this little push-pull, all right, we're going to come and fill all these participants up here, right, which we do. These are stops getting popped, all right? These are stops getting popped, right? Once we pop these stops, we pull back in. What do we hold? It's an RBS zone, right? We just hold this next RBS zone where we just broke out from. Sellers come piling in, and we're coming up for more. Maybe I'm going to regret not buying that now, but we're coming up for more. And all the stops right now, all right, there will be swing short stops will be positioned around 312, which is what all these are. All right, so they're trying to run these stops out from Globex. Now, if we make that make sense now, when we come back to this here, all right, why 312? Well, if you were a short seller here, right, your stop is here. You've traded all the way down. If you've not taken your profit, what happens when we run this out? All right, what happens when we run this out? Short sellers become market buyers, and then you might get breakout buyers come in, and they will try and get up to all-time highs. Why I've been bullish today? Remember, this is a higher time frame pullback, and we're trying to get this move. All right, and maybe I'm going to regret not buying that. One of you just said, "Are you buying this now?" Maybe I'm about to regret not buying it, but I'm comfortable on the day, and it's a Friday, and I'm chilling, and it's all good. It's all good in the hood. All right, so this is your next target, 312s, this red block. So you should have taken some partials out into 70, take some out between 300 and 312s, and then hold on for all-time highs and above all-time highs. We're in price discovery. We can think about a fib for an extension in case they really get going today, but I'd be paying yourself where we are. If we really got going today, then this is the target. All right, we'll be looking for these 480s. All right, because 480s is not only a gamma level, it's a 1.5 fib. No, don't delete that. There we go. I need those. Right, and hopefully those of you new on stream can start to understand how and why I trade certain levels. Alex calls his mum Jess. Yeah, I live at home with my mum. Mum, meatloaf. I'm a 40-year-old virgin living at home with my mum, wearing spectacles, trading. Does joining Discord show my entries? I can show my entries, but like, why? This is the thing. Why do you need me to show my entries if I'm telling you what I'd be looking for before it happens? It's kind of weird when people say that. It's not like I'm jumping in and not telling you what I'd be looking for. Anyway, whatever, man. Am I in the basement? Yeah, I'm definitely in the basement. They want me to hold their hand. I know. Like I say, I'll show you where the bathroom is. I'm not holding your little penis for you. That's your job, mate. Right. And on that note, I'm going to go to the bathroom. It's not little though. See you in a bit. All right. What's the Bookmap discount? Geez, let me find it again for you. Where is she? Flowzone Trader 20. All right, Flowzone Trader 20. Capital F, capital Z, capital T. I'll post it one more time in chat for you. There, that's the code. There's no way I wash my hands. I absolutely did wash my hands. Who would not wash their hands? You guys all like prepare something's happening because he's left. It's always the way. Noobs need to see entries. Well, no, you don't. No, you don't. Like, I can't trade and chart and everything else. We were entering here, all right, for this. I think we had two attempts at it here. I missed this because there wasn't enough. But once we built this, and then I think, I can't remember, did we get this part of the move? Yes, maybe we got this part of the move and I stopped out here. I can't remember if it was this side or this side. And then you're coming into top side of supply now. And you want to, you would not want to leave this, all right? And if they do, you need it to be a trap and go. You're runners only now, really. All right, so it's a good break from here. This low volume node, you'd need bulls to use this as a trap, the low volume node. If they don't, you're going to get an inside trade. All right, so this low volume node here, right? We've built out liquidity up here now. You can see it. This needs to be used as a trap and go. Right, if it's not used as a trap and go, you're going to see failures because we're protecting the high at that point. So that would be the short at the moment. Look at that. They're trying to use this low volume node as the trap. They're trying to use it as the trap and go. We just literally talked about it. It's looking good though. It's looking good for you guys. Remember, over this, stops get popped at 12. You can see them on Bookmap above me as well. Look, you can see them trying to protect it. Look, all the liquidity up here, these horizontal lines, right? Once we run these, you get a stop run and we start filling higher. And let's see, is anyone up at 370s right now, which is the all-time high? Yes, look at all this liquidity up here looking to get filled in front of 370. So if you pop these stops, there's a chance for a new leg up. Thanks, Alex. I made some good money from blue box longs. Nice. Yeah, from the RBS. Right, just simple, isn't it? Just simple. Don't overcomplicate it. Legend. Hot. Thank you. Alex, what's the reason for passive sellers not walking down to push price lower? Probably because they're taking profits, right? So like when we're in a sell market, we're not in a sell market right now, we're in a buy market. So if I draw this out, I'll come up here. All right, if the market was doing this higher time frame, all right, then sellers will protect pivots and like sell here and chase the market lower to get the breakdown, and then sell pivots and chase the market lower to get the breakdown, and sell pivots and chase the market lower to get the breakdown, right? That makes sense, doesn't it? Because we're making lower lows and lower highs. They're short sellers doing this, right? When we're making higher highs and higher lows, right, then the passive sellers, right, if we're doing this, which is what we're doing right now, right, then passive sellers are probably bulls taking a bit of profit. So as we come into this level, they might disappear from the tape and be like, well, let's see if I can get filled higher. And then they rebid. Let's see if I can get filled higher. Rebid. Let's see if I can get filled higher. The aggression or the chase comes when they think there's a blow off and they're like, mean reversion, right, we can chase down lower, right? And until that momentum changes, what you see is pressure being very, very different, because they're more likely to be profit taking, all right, than they are to be aggressive sellers. Like, ask yourself, in this market here, all right, why would you really want to be a seller in this market? When the guy this morning said we're in a sell, I'm like, we're not, right? Why would you want to be a seller in this market? There's a reason I said today, I want to be a buyer in the market of dips, right? We wanted to buy either this or ideally this, all right? So if you're a seller, maybe you sold on the way down here, but as we're lifting back up, you're more likely to be a buyer from here or here, taking profit, all right? And seeing how high we can get. Who's selling aggressively here? There's no reason. There's no reason to be an aggressive seller here. There's no reason to be a passive seller chasing even. Not yet, anyway. Can I show how I mark out my TPs? Well, my TPs are on swing points. So they're either on, like, my TPs are all, everything I do is based on a key level. Everything I do, every entry, every profit target is based on a key level. All right. So ideal entry this morning was down here. All right. And then we bought this gray box once we reclaimed. All right. High or low. Thanks. All right. Take profit was swing highs, initial balance, and cool wall. Next take profit is swing highs. And next take profit is all-time highs. All right, we're taking profit into, you don't have to wait for it, but we're taking profit into a liquidity pool, into a liquidity pool, into a liquidity pool. Above here, this is a fib of this. That's a 1.5 move. All right, so if this is 100%, this is 0.5 of it, or 50%. All right, that's how we do it. That's what we're looking for. And if you're wondering, it's like these plans, look, I can show you. We plan this out pre-market. What am I looking to buy here? Hopefully you guys can see that. Maybe I can draw it down. This is what we do in the Discord. What am I looking to buy here? Blue box, either gray box or blue box. The first things I'm looking for, gray box or blue box, to drive upside. Once we get above this level we're at now, we're looking for all-time highs and maybe all the way up into here, 480s, right? Right up here, which is what we're trying to do at the moment. Where am I looking short? Only when we come under blue box, or I set basically saying here there might be a range developed between these two. It's all I'm saying in this, with this here, a range being developed. But dips, extensions, failures underneath, or range. What have we had? Dips, extensions possible. Yeah. The work is done pre-market, folks. The plan happens pre-market, right? It just comes from being neutral, coming to the chart each day, going through the same thing process every single day. Where's your resistance? Where's your support? Where's your supply? Where's your demand? However you want to do it. Where are the thick levels from yesterday? Where did we condense? Where did we get thin? All right, stop's about to be popped here. So through here, all right, hopefully you get a stop run for those of you who are still long. And ideally, we get all-time highs now. But this is a big level here, all right? We can technically pop above this and fail back down, all right? Technically. I don't think they finished it yet, but we can technically do that. If they're going to protect the all-time high today, we can technically do this. Again, I wouldn't be short until you get under all of this. But ideally for you, we pop above this and we just scream up here now. And then you want to be out most of your position into this, and you can just hold tiny runner in case today we come up for this for you guys. Okay, but where's the volume profile anchored from? It's got to be the most common question, which is written in here all the time. This is from the 9:30 open. All right, previous day, we're not anchored off previous day. Previous day levels are down here. All right, there's previous day value area high, previous day point of control, previous day value area low. What did we do today? Gapped above. Right, we left the gap, right, the close from yesterday. We gapped above previous day's value, which means what? We're moving price higher. We're in bullish momentum. High volume nodes are important plus structure. Yeah, high vol is important. So is low vol though. All right, so is low vol. Like high volume means we rotate. High volume we rotate. Low volume we trade quickly through. right? Low volume we trade quickly through because there's no volume there, right? Makes sense, doesn't it? All right, here's the stop run. So they've run the stops. Stops just got popped here. You can see it here on Bookmap. Again, aggressive buying, running these stops, and they're trying lift now in towards these highs, right? All-time highs are up here. Look at this. This is where they're trying to get them the move to. Have you heard me telling you to short it today? Or did I argue with the guy telling you to short it? You have not heard me telling you to short it. Just got my 4th payout thanks to you, big bruv. Hey, nice work, man. Love it. Nvidia's ripping faces. Yeah, so is AMD. AMD just hit 350. What am I up on AMD now? This swing is ridiculous. I've got to take profit because I don't think we gap up next week. I think that's my AMD swing. Wild. Wild. Coop, are you still in leaps, my friend? Because you must be up 400-500% if you're in leaps still. All right, so stops run, like we said. If they now come down, right, their job was to run these stops. That's the stop run. They can afford to come right back into here now if they want. If that was the exit liquidity that I talk about, if they can afford to come right back in. I'm going to remove this now because we've popped it. The flow is still very bullish, but like if this is the end of the auction, you'll see it collapse back into these 70s, and then we can make a decision. But at the moment, still holding flow zones, still just drift. Pre-market, what do I mark? Well, all I mark is all-time highs, previous day value area high, previous day value area low, previous day point of control. Because for me, my flow zone system does everything else. All right, so if I'm looking at the previous day high, previous day close, previous day low, all these horizontal lines, they're done for me. Globex levels, opening range, initial balance, it's all done for me. But I would be marking out all those levels. Is the AMD return bigger than my cart, the return of my old man and cart? No, it's not. Unfortunately, ads, it's not. It'd be nice if it was. Where are we trading at today on car? Has it found a relief yet? A little bit. Yeah, a little bit. So I am going to hope. You can see, look, we're bouncing. These are levels I had from 2021. All right. I'm going to hope now that we get a lift. It can take, sometimes it can take a few months. We get a lift up to here, maybe for a gap fill. And I'll be looking to sell short again here, and I'll try and hold that. All right, so we got the short from 720s. Right, down into here, we covered some into 450s and then sub 300s yesterday. And then I'll look, hopefully it might take a couple months because it did last time. I can remember it took 3, 4, 5 months for that lift up. And then I'll look to quietly fade it for a few years. Yeah, Dad, if you're watching, I'll take a Daytona Ghost for giving you that trade. Thanks very much. Cheers. Apologies, but I've been looking for the volume profile indicator you show on your screen. Where is it? It's not an indicator, bud. That's why. It's a tool. You got to come into here. Forecasting. Anchored volume profile. All right. Forecasting anchored volume profile. It's not an indicator. It's a drawing tool. At low volume nodes, is it possible to bounce and reverse? Yeah, so low volume nodes, when you're above a low volume node, all we're saying, right, with this here, right, let's use this. All we're saying is price doesn't actually want to be here, right? So technically speaking, this can be support, right? So all we're saying is price doesn't want to be here. So it might want to find support here because it doesn't like trading here, right? But if you come under that, it can be resistance, and you'd want to use the thick level to confirm that. If you think about yesterday, Yesterday, we did exactly that. Yesterday, where's yesterday? Give you a really good example. Yesterday was a great example. Okay, let's put yesterday's volume on. Right, up here, we had thin volume. Right, this is the open. This is the open yesterday. This is a really good example of using low volume, right? To, let's just say to here, before we got there. Okay, so while price was being made. Okay, can you see this low volume node? Let's just explain this to you. I'm just going to give you edge here. Right, so what do we have here? Alex was looking for a breakdown under here yesterday. You remember I had two or three attempts at this breakdown thinking we'd wash because why did I think that? Because we hadn't run out any of the stops, right? Market likes to take the liquidity and we hadn't done a mean reversion. Alex was wrong in the morning, second day in a row where we needed to retrap. So what do? We print up. Where does the volume get thick in this day? All right, at the highs, we have thick volume right here. This is how my brain works. Okay, I know buyers have chased in here, right? Everyone who didn't buy down here, they've failed to buy here and eventually chased the highs. We have excess at the highs. We have a high of day with good buy side excess. So once we trade away from this, there's your lower high rejecting this node, right? We trade down. You remember we moved away from this and I was pissed off because I wanted the short in the low volume node because I know price will want to come back up there. And if we reject this level, then it's confirmation that these buyers are trapped. So if you waited for it, what do once we come into this low volume node? We reject it, all right? We clearly reject that, all right? Sellers were waiting there to defend these buyers. These buyers are stuck. These buyers become sellers and other sellers defend it. We move away, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. There's your head and shoulder. There's your break. Did I get that? No, I didn't. I missed that break, all right? I missed this whole move. But what I did get is this here. What's this? Low volume node. What did we have above this low volume node in here yesterday, if you remember? In here, we had thousands of market buyers. I don't know why they did that. For me, it made no fucking sense. So once we're under that price, imagine you've bought thousands and thousands and thousands of contracts market buyers of an average price of 45, I think it was. Well, once we create a bear flag and we move under this thin volume, what's going to happen? Well, they are going to get liquidated. I got short here and we rode it down to 275 points for a best cover of 720. And if you're like, no, you didn't, I'll show you the Discord in a moment. We did. Okay, and that all started from these buyers being trapped, this low volume node rejecting, these buyers being trapped, this low volume node being rejecting. That's how it all came about. All right, that's how it all came about. It's how you see it all. All right, so let's move back to today. How are we getting on? Still going. All right, you're still going. Look at that. Supported the bid here. So protected the low volume node, held the high volume node. Up we go. All-time highs is where you're trying to get today. Yeah, I've just given you, like, if you've never traded that way before, I've just given you a lot of edge. I'm not being a dick. Like, a lot of people pay a lot of money for that and still can't understand it. ES going for it as well now. All right, and remember, above this, there is no supply. So above this, all we can use is, you take profit into this, all we can use above this is forecasting with fibs and gamma levels. That's all we can use. Where's the max levels we can go to? Well, I mean, look, above all-time high, this is the level at the moment, both gamma and fib. So why the fib? If we go from pre-market all-time high to the low of day, all right, that's our current range. Our extensions are into this level, so we can just call this like 80s basically. And above that, if we do a measured move, 600s. All right, but don't guarantee we get there. Make sure you've paid yourself along the way. We don't know that we're going to break out today. We just know it's what it's trying to do. And I can show you yesterday. We can talk about yesterday. Okay, so pre-market yesterday. This is what we were looking at. All right, dips to be bought to come back up to these levels. But once we flipped, we were thinking about that big sell back down, all right, once we flipped. I think that was yesterday. Or was that today? That's today. Where's yesterday? Here we go. All right, so yesterday we were thinking about the push back up, but once we flipped these levels here, all right, then we were thinking about the retrace. Look at this, right back down to the 700s. Remember, my cover was 720. This is why, right? Because the rebalance was going to be to current weak point of control. This was yesterday at 6 a.m. All right, so that's 9 a.m. market time. I was calling, these were the moves we were calling for. A lift up, but if we see failure underneath here, a reprice to 720. Okay, and then in the Discord together, you best believe we all got it. We absolutely nailed this thing. All right, I was in chat to support everyone to make sure we all got it on the way down. Okay, this is where we started covering. Okay, here we go. So I was pointing out why I was covering there. Reminding people what the pathing was. 720. Now will you please, because I can't spell when I'm typing very quickly. All right, so we get targets here for this downside move. TP2, TP3 were hit, and then we were looking for 26,800, 26,750, and then 720s. All right, and everyone got it together. All right, we all traded this together the whole way down. All right, and lots of them passing accounts yesterday and making good money. For me, I made 2,600 on that trade. Really good. All right, it's the advantage of being Discord. It's not even just me. There are some brilliant traders in that Discord. All right, brilliant traders, and providing a lot of great education and also some great indicators. How do you join Discord? You have to do the beginner to advanced course on my website. The reason for that is so that everyone in Discord is trading the same way, has the same understanding. Do I pay attention to overnight volume profile? I do, my friend. That's why, not as much attention, but that's why today the marked levels were this grey box and this grey box. That was our overnight volume, right? We were in here. Yeah, those were the extremes. So now we're overnight. We should be able to, as long as they're willing to hold this, we should be able to complete this move. I pay attention to it more recently because the moves have been bigger as well. So we have to pay attention to it more. How do you do the beginner to advanced course? Everything's on my website. The links are down below. flowzonetrader.com. It's on there. It's a 20-hour course. No discounts on the course. Sorry, guys. We've already done sales this year. Honestly, I still think it's undervalued. Like, I think it's priced very, very fair for what you get. Is there a place for someone with no experience and 46-year-old just starting? Yeah. You will not be the oldest person in there by a long stretch. Trust me. We're an older bunch in there, for sure. Probably because I'm older, so it probably doesn't attract that much teenagers. I'm probably not very fun. I'm not your typical ICT Faru, so I don't get all the flashy Lambo Miami kids. Can I double check my anchored volume profile? Mine looks ass. Well, it might be because of your data. All right, so I have mine 2 ticks, but I pay for tick data. All right, and everything else is the same. But that might be why. I have mine set to 2 ticks. You still look good. Look, it's still trying to get up to these highs. What we sometimes see when we get up to highs is a trap need to form, especially in an extended move. So if they don't swipe this soon, what you'll probably see is this, and then a dunk, run all these stops out, and then come back for it later in the day. So if you don't get this soon, you will probably see this move here, run the stops out, and then come for it. If they don't run this out soon, that's what you're likely to see because of how we're doing this grindy move. But at the moment, they're just lifting and lifting and lifting. Just wanted to say thank you. I've learned so much from watching your stream for 2 weeks now. You're welcome, Frank. No worries, mate. You're 37 and desperate, eh? You're 3 years younger than me, my friend. I don't have a Lambo. No, I don't drive a Lambo. I don't drive anything right now in California. I'm waiting for the Austin move, and then I've got my house. Well, it's about to go up for sale in the UK. We just had it valued on Monday, and I need to sign paperwork with what we call a estate agent. You guys call a realtor, and then that will be up for sale. I'm flying. I will be off stream on the week of the Friday of, is it May 15th? I'm going to Austin that weekend, taking my wife to Austin. We're going to have a look around. Let's see if it's somewhere she wants to live or not. No, coming, AB Flow State, coming over May 15th. So it would be her first time. So I will be doing a lot of traveling over like 3 or 4 days. Here we go. So squeezing up. So we'll go and check out. You know, I'll take her downtown. We do the basics, right? We do Terry Blacks. We'll do like paddle boarding on the river. I'll take her up to the lakes. I'm meeting my mate. He texted me yesterday. Where are we gonna go? What did he say? The Equipment Room, a Japanese speakeasy vinyl cocktail bar, and or here nor there as well. And then I'm gonna have to take my wife to the surf club as well because she's a big surfer. All right, here we go, folks. You look good. You look good. You look good. Where's the guy wanting to short the lows today? I'm not being a wally, but I really, 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 really hope you listen to me. Do I use ATM on Ninja? I do, yeah. Lake Travis, yeah, that's one. Why am I choosing to live in the US rather than the UK? Well, I've lived here for 6 years. My wife took a pretty big job here, which is why we're here. And I'm done with the UK, man. I'm done with the UK. The tax in the UK is even worse than here. It rains all the bloody time. It's stab city. There are parts of it I miss, but I don't see me going back. If I went back, I'd have to go back to the countryside somewhere. I certainly wouldn't live in London again. Too many rules and regs. Yeah, I read yesterday that I reckon Starmer's going to be booted out soon. We'll see. Stab City. Yeah, what do I mean by Stab City? I mean every little is carrying a knife, and you look at them the wrong way, they get their little knife out and they're like, do you want some, bruv? And they are genuinely like that. Yeah, bruv. I'll get you with my leng, innit? Get out of it. You lived in East London for 6 years. Well, that's where I'm from. All right, so just be careful here. If you've been long, like I said, they might want to run the trap first before they come up for the highs. If they fail this high, it's likely because of what they've done here. Remember, they haven't run any stop outs since here. Think about this, right? If they don't take the high soon, what they will do is drop it down, run the stops, and come back for it later. I'm telling you that so you can manage your position. Some of you are long from here or maybe here, all right? I don't want you to give this whole thing back because it can happen very, very quickly. If they need to trap shorts in before they get there, they will drop it, have shorts chase, run out the weak hands, come back for it. It's the oldest trick in the book. They love to do it. Doesn't have to do it. If they've got enough shorts caught, they could keep grinding it. But if they haven't, they will do the drop first. So I'm just making you aware so you can manage your position. 699 course includes lifetime Discord. Yes, it does. And in Discord, you get a ton of free stuff, bud. It's not just like trading in the afternoons. There is a ton of free stuff. So they're going for it. There's lots of liquidity hanging out up here. 40s, 45s, 50s, 60s, and then 70s is all on deck. I hope they get it for you in one go because then you don't have to worry about the pullback. Dublin's getting like that. Is it really, Rome? That upsets me. Dublin is somewhere I could see myself living. It's one of my favourite places ever. What do you think to live in Dubai? Not for me. A lot of my best mates are over there. But you know, as some of you will know, I'm Lebanese mix. My friends are Iraqi and Iranian mixes who live over there. They love it. I've got some Egyptian friends over there. I think if you grew up in the Middle East, Dubai is amazing because it's the closest thing you're going to get to the West. If you grew up in the West, for all the great things Dubai has, it is still, you still need to be careful, right? It's not freedom. It's not like being in Europe, you know, where you can walk freely and get your tits out on the beach and drink freely and all these things. It's not quite the same, is it? You know, so you have to remember where you are. It's basically hotel life, really, and that's coming from someone who's been there quite a lot. Both to see my friends, I used to DJ there a lot as well. I love it. I could do it for a period of time, but it's not where I'd want to settle down personally. But I think it's a cool place. If I trade M&Q, should I be watching NQ for level 2 in the DOM? Yeah, don't watch the M&Q DOM and level 2. You only want to watch, right, I talk about this quite a lot. You want to watch the big hands, the big players, the market makers, the banks, the investors, the hedge funds. They're not trading M&Q, are they? They're trading NQ. So watch the DOM, watch the order flow on the big book, but trade the small book. I'm half Arab. Yes, I am, my friend. When buyers or sellers are joining the tape, do you look at both ES and NQ? I only look at what I'm trading. Yeah, I otherwise it's overload. I look at the levels. So over here, I'm looking at the levels on like ES, SPY, QQQ, and VIX, but I'm only watching order flow on NQ. I'm only watching order flow on NQ, right? Looks like they aren't convinced yet. Like I said, they can drop this. It's why I keep warning you. Because of how they've built this out, the oldest trick in the book, right, will be to drop this down, run some of these stops, and then catch it and go for it later. You need to be aware of that. So I'm telling you, manage your position. Like, ideally, you've paid yourself here and here, right? And then if you want to cut this whole trade up here, right, if it starts breaking down and it can't hold here, if you want to cut it, and then if they trap and reload, you can go again, can't you? But what you don't want to do is give back from 44. You don't want to give back this whole move. That's a big move, and it can happen quick. No page 3 girls in Dubai. I mean, I would say it's probably quite a lot, but they're there for the weekends for the parties or to go on the boats, aren't they? With the Emiratis who... I'm going to keep my mouth shut at this point. I'll get myself in trouble. Yeah, I'm going to keep quiet. I'm too well travelled. I know too much. I know too much. Good idea to buy in the grey box. If they hold, yeah, if they trap this node here, right, I'd be watching these two places here. Right, so you can see them starting to walk it down. Right, so if they come down here, you can watch to see if they're ready to do this. Or you can let it, you know, you can let it do one of these or maybe this and join afterwards rather than trying to bid in this zone here. Let them, the way I always think about it is I want to let the market makers bid this and I want to join once I know they've bid. Think about what we did this morning. I want to let, I know I lose the best price sometimes. I'm unwilling to bid that, even though I know it's a level, but I'm willing to bid that. Now we've put in the higher low, right? Because now I've got something to protect against. Otherwise, I'm bidding this. Where's my stop? I don't know. I've got like, I have to like look left and think, oh fuck, am I going to risk that? I can't risk that because they can swipe it, right? So I like to let momentum shift my way before I bid. If I'm buy side or sell side, I need momentum on my side. Think about yesterday, the sell, the same thing. Once we rejected up here, right? Your best sell opportunity was, even though that was great, that's an easier sell that's an even easier sell because the momentum's come in. Momentum and location, folks. Yeah, these are the things I try and preach to you guys. All right. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see this trap here starting to develop. If they wash this down after a steep run up, trap some bears down at the lows, and then come back for it later. You're in Dubai this year when the war started. Cool place, short midterm. Yeah, that's what I'd say. Make your money there if you can, and then be out. Have I been to the Nordics? I've DJ'd in a few of them, but I haven't spent any good time there, to be honest, to really get to enjoy it. I wish I had. Beautiful part of the world. Tips on how to recognize a pullback versus reversal. Well, what's the main trend? What's the main trend? Main trend is up. Main trend is up. Breakout, main trend is up. That's your pullback. Main trend's up, right? Think about this. That's the trend at the moment. So this is all a pullback. When we're looking for, like if you're thinking about lower time frame, normally what you want is to pop a lot of stops, leave a wick. In this wick, you'd want buyers, right? Aggressive buyers, aggro, that's an awful G. That's an awful A. Aggressive buyers caught in this wick, all right? Low volume node left here, high volume node left here, and rejection. Just like yesterday. At the moment, look at this. Think about this. Where have we just tapped into? Look at this little micro shelf here, this low volume node. They're supporting it. They are still supporting it. That might be enough. They might have caught enough shorts here. They might well have caught enough shorts into this who are looking for the collapse and come back. I don't know. But there's lots of liquidity above to go for. Is Alex a World Cup guy? I am, man. Dude, I had 3 goes at getting tickets this year for the. I have got tickets. They're awful tickets. You'll laugh at this. 3 goes. I did the FIFA lottery system or whatever it's called. As someone that's living in Los Angeles, I wanted tickets to the SoFi. The 3rd time I was on from 6 a.m., it got me through at 4 p.m. That's how long I waited for. Once I got through, the only ticket available was 1 single ticket for USA Uruguay right up in the bleachers at the top of SoFi for 2,700. I'm like, I'm not paying that to sit by myself. So luckily my friend got tickets. Ready for this? The best game we're going to at the SoFi. Iran, New Zealand. But at least we're going to the World Cup. Hopefully England get through a few stages, and then I will try and get some tickets, and wherever they're playing, I'll fly to it. But at least we got something. Oh, it's a joke, mate. Overpriced. Who's paying $2,700 to sit at the top of a stadium with 100,000 people in to watch USA Paraguay? Get the fuck out. What a joke. What a joke. We'll see if we can get some more, though. I want to get some stuff for the Olympics as well. It's also on my list to do. Well, I don't know. This is it. Like, what happens with Iran? So if they don't come, who do they replace that with? All the Italians like, please. Mamma mia, please. The Italians as a please. Grazie mille, grazie mille. Oh, that's true though, man. You guys fluffed it. Fluffed it. I'm part Italian as well, so it's all right. Some of you will know, my dad lives in Rome. Here we go. Sellers trying to step on the gas. Tape's just got a little bit wonky here. Don't know what's going on. Tape just got a little bit wonky here. How long we got? 15 minutes. I'm in a good mood today. It's the weekend. Here we go. Tape's got one. There you go. There's your all time. Like I said, tape got really wonky there for a second. Right. There's your TP. So they protected the low volume node, and now you are runners only for all the way up into here. All right, or runners only for all the way up into 480s. Congrats, everyone. Congrats. And make sure you're paying yourself above the all-time highs. I'll check for the news. Like, that tape got wonky. I could see it on Bookmap. Before the move happened, the tape got really, really wonky. Not seeing anything. Maybe it's just a technical breakout across the board. Nvidia now 5%. Oh, Nvidia's ripping faces. That's probably what it is. The book's cleared out, guys. There's no liquidity on the book. There's no one on the book. Be very careful. The book has cleared out. If you look at Bookmap, there's nothing on it right here. So be very careful. Do not be entering a new position right here. It's thin. So nice work, folks. Everyone that got it. There you go. So we got longs. For you guys that held today, from 172 up to, so you got a 200-point long today. You guys that were able to get these moves all the way up. I'm buzzing for you. There's 200 points there. Who's the guy that was talking shit to me on YouTube again a few days ago, leaving me death threats and whatnot? I hope you're on here, mate. There's your 200-point trade. You caught most of it. Nice work. Nice work. Oh, yeah. There's all sorts of psychopaths on YouTube nowadays. You got the whole move. Yeah, buddy. Awesome work. Awesome work. Now, if we look at the book, it's still very thin here, folks. And I'll take you over to the book. Look, there's only just starting to see some passive orders come back in. All right, so we just ran all the stops to the all-time highs. We popped up to 400. You can see these are all the stops in here, these big boy orders. 723 got popped there into that all-time high, and there were orders below. So look, 100, you can see it, 166, 192, 239, 723. They kept coming in, 72, 218, 74, 50, 40. What's that at the top? 28, 75. So I would say from this order here, it started from 25s and they ripped it in one go, ran all the stops, and we're coming back in now. And finally, we're starting to get some orders come back on the tape. So we're starting to see the book fill up. So you can see in here, it was all black, right? This is a void, right? So I'd say from, what time was this here? 11:44.40 all the way to basically here. So for 2 minutes, there were no orders on the book. We ran so many orders out, everyone got scared and just went, hey, let this settle down. Short is still good. I'm not even... I'm not responding to that. You're trying to bait me. You're being silly. So you just held all-time highs. So your next target is the 480s above, remember. That's your next thing. Yeah, Trump sending Witkoff and Kushner to Pakistan for Iranian talks. Iran FM conveys Iran's consideration in ending war. I mean, it's good. It's positive news. That's what we priced in. We can keep lifting all the time. We have positive news. Fantastic. Nice work today, folks. What a beautiful day. So W's in chat if you made money with me today. Hopefully you've made some money with me today. It's been fun with you guys in stream. We've had less nonsense in stream and more focused watching. We need to get the likes up. So let's get to 1,000 likes. We're 400 short right now. Lots of you doing well. Get to 1,000 likes. Smash that like button on stream and we'll do Apex giveaway. Yeah, look at all you guys winning. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. So as long as they hold this print up here, as long as they hold this node, right, you've got to be careful because we definitely have excess in here. But if they hold this, they can continue higher with positive news. But I wouldn't be entering a new money long now. Your long positions were like here and here. You can argue here when I said the tape looks like it's ready to go. I wouldn't be a new money long at all-time highs, right? Now you're just holding on, seeing how far it can get. That's your job right now. Am I in Discord with the group for the entire session? I normally come in the afternoons if there's setups. I mean, I do take breaks. I am a human being. This is tiring. Like doing what I'm doing now, trying to teach and trade is tiring, and I have to edit. I'm a one-man band and reply to emails and content. So normally, once it gets to lunch, I either walk Luna, or normally I do both, and go to the gym, and then I come back in the afternoon. If there's a good setup in the afternoon, I'll take the setup. Even if I'm not there, I'm on my phone all afternoon, supplying everyone in Discord with what I think might be setting up, drawing out potential plays. New money shorts. Why would you want to be a new money short? Why? You're definitely Tabs. You're definitely doing it to try and wind me up. Why would you be a new money short right now? Look, we're still breaking out. There's no supply. Remember this. Right, everything above this red line. Everything above this red line is price discovery. Price discovery. All right, and we've just had positive news. We've just completed the H1 pullback. The measured move is to here. If we do a 200% move, it would be even higher. I'll measure out. Sorry, 200%, 100% move. So pullbacks to 1.5 is to 480. Measured move is basically to 600. There's no reason to be looking to fade the market, right? We're at all-time highs. We are in price discovery. We've just had positive news come out. Please do not try and fade it. Well, that news was bullish. I would say at some point, we're probably going to have a sell the news event. At some point, we're going to price in a lot, but you know, this market can keep moving higher. It's what are we up on AMD now? Oh my god, 115%. This thing just keeps growing. This is just keeps growing and growing and growing. My portfolio is looking fantastic. The hard thing on stuff like this is you just wish you'd bought more. Just like, why haven't I bought more? Nice, Dino. Looking forward to working with you, mate. You think I need a co-pilot? Someone to help in Discord and teach and stuff? Yeah, I do. There are guys who do support and help me with building a lot of stuff together at the moment. Sell the news, buy the rumor. Yeah. Well, the other way around, buy the rumor, sell the news. Yeah. I wonder if we do get a scenario like that where if we get overextended on earnings and everything, and then the war finishes, if we get a run up on that news of war finish, and we get loads of retail pile-in, and then you get institutions sell into that, and we get that reversal back down. The more extended we are into that event, if it does happen, the more likely it is that we will sell the news. But we'll see. We can only play that as and when it happens, right? Toma, I saved your ass this morning. I was going to get short. I'm glad I saved your ass, buddy. Right. Don't fade it and don't go new money long. Yeah, exactly. Well, you're see, this is a problem that newer traders have, what you've just said, because you think you have to be in the market all the time, right? Why do you need to be in the market up here? Where were the dips today? Right? Where were the buy opportunities today? What did we mark out pre-market? Did the same with you this morning. Right? These were the buy opportunities. Blue box or recovery of this grey box, basically 300s, 280, 300s, right? Those were the buy opportunities. Blue box, recovery of grey box. Okay, let's have a look. Blue box, recovery of grey box. These were the buy opportunities here and here, right? This is not a buying opportunity here. You are now buying the most premium price in the history of the stock market. right? So just because we don't buy it because we want to buy cheap and go up doesn't mean it's a short, does it? All right. Think about it. Let me think about this. How can I explain this to you? Let's say, all right, we do the old Rolex Daytona. All right, so the Rolex. This morning, the Daytona came down to a price of, I don't know, 25K. So we wanted to buy it because we knew that was pretty good value. Now, the Daytona is worth 45K. All right, so we've made $10,000 on that. If we bought, let's say we bought 5 Daytonas, we might sell 4 of them up here, so we lock in 40K profit. But we don't know how ridiculous this market's going to get. Maybe the Daytona is going to be worth 55K in an hour, 65K in an hour, 75K in an hour. When you're short, you're having to borrow someone else's Daytona and selling it thinking you're going to buy it back cheaper. Well, there's nothing to say right now that this market is moving back to here. It might develop soon to tell you that, but at the moment, there is nothing to say that. Lorenzo saved your ass too. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. Which broker do I use? I have a few different ones. So I have a long-term tax efficient account, which I have with 212, and I have another account with TradeStation, and I have another account with IG. I probably still have an account with TradeZero somewhere. What's the difference between this Flowzone System Pro, Calvin? The difference are the weekly levels, the candle repaints, which I don't currently have on, but the candle repaints, the weekly levels, the opening range, and the Globex levels. Those are the differences. At no point would I be willing to add to a long position. Well, that's a different question to being a new money long, isn't it? That's a different question. The add, like we said, would probably have to be down here. At this point, I'd say probably not. The add would have to be in this low volume node, and we've already done that dip and rip. It's already done it, look. Or a rip, dip, and rip, actually, is what we had. So we protected, think about this, low volume node here, right? So this was the attempt of washer stops. Too many shorts chased in, so they didn't even need to come down. They protected low volume node. They went rip, dip back to shelf, rip, and now basing over. And this is the volume being built out now. So you could argue in here, bulls might want to defend it. They might be waiting in here, in this pocket here for this. But you've got to remember how much higher you are than our buying opportunities this morning. The buying opportunities were here. We were looking to buy somewhere around, let's just call it 150s, 160s. You're now trading the 400s. Like I said, do you want to be buying a Rolex at that price? Or are you happy to just let it work out? That's up to you. Only you know the answer to that. I didn't look at Intel's earnings, but I mean, they're probably in a big short squeeze for one. And, you know, the whole of, like we said, the biggest positions, I said at the beginning of the day, the biggest positions in history got placed the last 48 hours into the chip names, into the semiconductors. The biggest positions in the history of the market the last 48 hours went into the semiconductors. So we can have a look, see where they're trading today. So XX. Dip and rip. Look at that. Look at that, right? Look at that. What did I say? 18 days? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. I was right. All right, it's the biggest run in the history of the market. Look at that. That's your semis. Right? You don't want to short against that. You do not want to be shorting against a bullish train. Right? And remember, this are semiconductors. They make up a huge amount of the market right now, given the AI wave and etc. etc. You got to understand what you're trading, especially if you're trading the Nasdaq. You better understand what you're trading. You better understand where the strength's coming from. What's my thought on Microsoft? Well, it looks good. Right, I've been long in Microsoft a while. Like, people didn't like the capex. We're long down here. I really wanted an undercut. You can see where I've got a price alert in case I get it, but we are long in here as a group. I think we've got a gap to fill here, and we just have to see, like, if we can hold this, get up here, hold this, then maybe 2027 we get that move. We've got a double top here, which is ripe to get taken. So we'll see. It's going to take time to develop. I would have much rather we came down here and did that, but I'm already long, and I will look to add if we're going to base out. Yeah. The reason it sold off, again, capex spend, right? They're all worried about the capex spend on AI right now. Same as Tesla, same as all these names, why they've been getting wrecked. But we'll see. We'll just have to see how things balance out. Do I look at the higher time frame according to regular trading hours? No, on my hourly, I have it as continuous. So if you think about this, on my hourly, this is my hourly. Right, the move we wanted today, it's nice that it came back in, because the move we wanted today was this. So yesterday we wanted this short down to here. Today we wanted this long, because we've got 1, 2, 3. We wanted this breakout. We missed it, so we have to have what? Breakout, pullback, long. Just make it simple. Right, let me draw this out for you. Think about how we've moved. I'm just going to do the swing points, okay? This is where we opened up today. Why would you be bearish? That's what you have to ask yourself coming into a day like today. Why would you be bearish? You can't. You can't be bearish in that. You can be bearish if we fail here. There's an argument for a pullback into range. But other than that, it's long here, isn't it? Right? Breakout, pullback. When did we last do that? Right here. Breakout, pullback. Breakout, did a deeper one. Trap. Why? Because this is value. This is where I covered yesterday. This is trend. Look at this. Trend lines don't work. There's your trend. There's your developing week POC. Right? You don't need to use regular trading hours. You can leave it as extended on the hourlies. But you just follow the structure. If you struggle with structure, I say it all the time. If you can't draw it out like I just did, or you can't see it, use a 1 moving average. Right? Or use a line chart. There you go. There's your breakout. There's your pullback. Long. Right? There's your undercut. There's your inverted head and shoulders or quasi. Long. We're getting long, right? Or just use a 1 moving average. Right? If you put a 1 moving average on top of that, make it a nice thick line, you'll be able to see it all. Just make your life easier once you're starting to learn. Make your life easier. Right, how are we doing? We're into lunch. Have we got the likes up yet? This is going to be second day in a row, folks, where we've had multiple 100-point trades and no likes on the stream. I love you guys, but you suck recently. My Fight Club. This first time ever I've seen someone to live comment on something I said. Thanks, bro. Cheers. Been trading for 30 years. The games are always fun. The games are fun, mate. Definitely fun. TPT taking forever. Been 4 hours. You'll get it over the weekend, mate. Sometimes TPT can take a day or two. It's not a big deal. So we'll be looking for a short on Monday next week. No. No, let's see where we close today. Let's see where we open up on Monday, right? Let's see. Let's think about where we are on the daily. This will all be in the newsletter. We'll go over it all. On the daily, are we overextended? No, we're not. All right, you guys will probably all say we're overextended. We're not overextended. Like we talked about, this was overextended, but then what did we do? We based out. We created liquidity. Broke out, pull back, breakout. Right? We're holding old highs now. This is a very positive sign for the market. Do we have room? Yeah, we've got room to the top Bollinger Bands. And if we close today, the Bollinger Band's going to get higher and we're hugging the 5-day. We talk about this many, many times, don't we? In a good positive trend, we will hug 5-day top bowl. Here we go. 5-day top bowl, 5-day top bowl, 5-day top bowl, 5-day top bowl, top bowl, 5-day, 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 5-day. We have room for an overextension of top bowl. Where will the pro trend come short? Probably under here at the moment. Not until then. And that won't even be a pro trend. It'll be a mean reversion back inside. Not until that point are we really thinking about a sell. But we'll see how we build volume out today. And I will go over it in the newsletter. All right. We will go over it in the newsletter like we always do. Again, look, we just came under low volume, supported back over node. No reason to be short right now. 0. Microsoft unfairly beaten down on the Mag 7s. Yeah, that's why we bought it, right? It was so cheap, right? That's why we bought Microsoft. It's why we bought Meta. It's why I didn't buy Nvidia, and I'm regretting it because it had a low PE ratio. But I should have bought the 170s. I'll tell you that now. But, you know, we did buy a lot of the cheap names. Mainly, we piled into software, all right? So we bought, other than the Vanguard and Bitcoins, we bought Netflix, we bought Microsoft, we bought Robinhood, we bought Oracle, we bought Meta, we bought Amazon. And I was already long in Apple and already long in AMD and some other stuff. And then I hedged some with the gilts and a little bit on US rare earth and energy fuels. And like I said, if energy and healthcare starts to catch a bid, and if we do see a rotation out of some of software and hardware, because hardware ran first, right? Hardware's been running. If we do see a rotation out, then I'll start looking at those moves. Right, let me catch up with chat, and then hopefully you guys can get us to 1,000 likes and we can do a giveaway. We are almost there, another 100 more. All right, let me just read some of these questions and then I'm going to get out of here. You've been overplaying a line chart on my candle so I can get the wicks, but the line chart gives me the path and structure. Yeah, exactly. Like a 1MA. Perfect. Perfect. Bro, I like the stream every day. I don't suck. I'm sorry if I said you guys suck. You suck, but what I tend to see on here is people come, they make their money, and then they bugger off. That's what's been happening. You're trading in Australia and it's 2 a.m. Oh, man, get off the charts. Friday night in Australia, go and get off the charts. All right, back into this node. All right, if they start washing here, they're going to come right down to this structure. All right, remember, you've hit your main target, which is all-time high. If they wash this, they're going to come down into this. They've now probably trapped some buyers up here. And you have to see if they hold this dip and do this for the rest of the day. But, I mean, you've hit your targets, folks. We've hit targets. The extension's up here, but you've hit all your targets. It's still bullish overall. It's very, very, very bullish right now. Reading your guys' comments here. 30 years of trading FZT. No, not me. I was reading out someone else's comment. I'm 40. That would mean I started trading at 10, which I think is probably a great age to start trading, but no. What volume profile do I use? Anchored volume profile. Okay, I've edged this session, yeah, probably. Scrolling down here, sorry. If I've missed any of your questions, I'm sorry. I'm just trying to read them all. To sign up to the newsletter on your website, or you just enter the sign up box on that says email, right? If you click underneath, if you go to the description here, underneath this, the description box, there is a newsletter tab. Just click that, sign up, and it would be in your inbox Saturday morning. Alex, if you were to purchase a 50K account from any prop firm, what would your number one be? I mean, that's a good question. It's very individual. It depends what your trading style is and what your ambitions are, right? This is how I see it. If you're a very, very new trader, the chances are is that you're going to fail. So you want cheap education. So then I'd go with someone like Apex, because it's only going to cost you, I don't know what it is at the moment, $30, $36 or whatever for an account. And you're in the market and you can get a feel for the market. And if you pass it, great. But if you don't, no big damage done. If you're a more consistent trader and you're looking to get payouts, then I think for me, probably the number one account right now is the Lucid Flex account for a 50K. It's probably the easiest pass. There's no consistency rule in the funded stage. You can pass it in 2 days. So there's 50% consistency rule, eval, no consistency on funded. So you can really let those winners go. I think you need 5 days of 150 and you can take a pay. Like the rules are really good. Really, really good. So after that, I'd probably say joint altogether are like my funded futures, Tradeify, funded next. TPT is good. TPT is my favorite for traders that know what they're doing, right? Because you've got to be able to deal with the trading drawdown. That's probably my favorite firm if you know what you're doing, but I don't think it's the one I would start on if I was a beginner. That's the best way I can answer. Alex, the anchored volume profile is a custom indicator. It's not an indicator, Nick. Okay, it's not an indicator. It's right here, right? Forecasting and measuring tools, anchored volume profile. All right, it's a tool, not an indicator. There you go. You just held the low volume node again. I still think this wants more. Again, like for me, I wouldn't be bearish in this. They are trapping and trapping. This is a lift and a lift and a lift. We're above initial balance. We're in a bullish order flow market. This thing's going to lift and lift and lift. Don't guess the highs, like I said. Like the wash down, as long as they protect into sort of 34s, they didn't get anywhere near it. They protected 58s. As soon as we got into the low volume, right? As soon as we got into the low volume, they protected it, and they're coming for this. This is where they want. So if you're still in, you still look good. Alex, I get my 2K payout today on Lucid Flex. Thank you. Nice, Yassine. Nice work. Alex, win today. Can you please show what Bookmap looks like when the book is thin? Yes, we can try and get back to it. Let me find out. See what that time was. What time did we break out? 11:43. Okay, here. All right, this is a thick book. See all these orders? These are all limit orders. These are all limit sellers. These are all market buyers. See how this goes completely black? All right. So between basically 11:44 and I'd say it doesn't really start thickening up until we get into here. So till 47. See how it's just dark. There's some orders start coming on here at like 45 and 46s. But see how this is just black? There's nothing on it. All right. So once we rip all these orders out, we do this huge bullish move. Look at this. Boom. We rip from 320 all the way up to basically almost 420. So we basically do a 100-point move in about 1 minute. All right. And in that, we clear all the orders and then no one comes on the tape. No one wants to play because they're like, let this settle down. And then we go from this black box, see all this dark, to now orders are back on the book. See how we're thickening up again. All right. So orders are back on the book. That's how you see it. All right. So this is a thin book. This is like what Globex will look like. This is a thick book where you can actually use levels for support, where you can see where the participants see the difference. Very, very thick, isn't it? Very, very different book now. See that? All right, still working my way through the questions here while we get the likes up. 1,000 likes, guys, and we're doing Apex giveaway. Hey, sorry being a little annoying about talking about shorting, but I'm just trying to learn how to structure, inform my bias. You're not being annoying, Tabs. Look, if I say anything, I'm only trying to help. I'm only trying to help you. All right. There's a short. I put a short up a few days ago. I explained this. All right. I lost tens of thousands of dollars of real money guessing tops. Okay, it's why I built this flow zone system. My number one rule when I'm playing well is do not bet against this system. All right, we are in strong bullish order flow. All right, this is momentum. This is deep flow zone pullback. We're above initial balance. We're above opening range. Any short you take today is a pullback at best, right? Unless we come underneath all these levels. Any short you take is a pullback at best. So the hardest trade will be to time this. The easiest trade will be to play this. Right, so that's why I built this system, to stop guessing tops, because I was you, my friend. It's the easiest thing to do. Your brain, the way our brains work is up too high, take a short. It's down to low, catch the knife. That's how our brain works. That's not how the market works. The market doesn't work like that. The market works on liquidity. Paying member of the stream here. Best stream on YouTube by far. Hey, Dave Davis, thank you for that. Okay, last time I'm going to say this. Volume profile. This is anchored volume profile, all right? It's a drawing tool. You can find it right here, all right? Right here, anchored volume profile. That is what I use. I have it set to 2 ticks, all right? I pay, if it looks different to yours, I pay for tick data. That will be why, right? Nothing else changes. And I anchor it to the 930 print. I should change my channel name to the description of the volume profile. People will stop asking. The thing is, Nightbot writes it in chat every 5 or 10 minutes. How far back is my anchor? Again, 930 open. There's 2 anchors I use. The 930 open and the opening print on Sunday. That's it. Thank you, Alex. I became a member last week and today was my first green day. I'm stepping away. Cheers. Also, I like the stream. Nice, Jose. Congratulations. You want to learn from me? I like your style of trading. Just turn up each day. It's free each day. You can learn as you go. And then if you want to do the course, you can do it. But like I say, go through all my free content first. Alex, can you please review that bottom where you said you wouldn't buy straight away, but wait for confirmation so you set a stop? I either get jumpy or I hesitate. The low of day, you mean, in here? Yeah, so in here, what you want to see in here are aggressive sellers being absorbed by buyers. And then what you want to see is a aggressive move away from it, good momentum, which we have, and a pullback that holds that level. And then you can start buying in here, probably risking this low. Now, if we look at that in terms of order flow, I'm just going to do it on here to make it easier so I can see it. Right, if we look at the low of day, there are probably sellers at this low of day. Right, look at these sellers. Look at the delta underneath. Oh, God, trading view. Look at the delta. I'll move this up so you can see it. You guys see that? I think you can see it. There we go. Right, heavy delta. Look at this candle. Look at these candles, right? Aggressive selling, aggressive selling, aggressive selling. What happens after that? Big buying. There's your move away. All right, so we leave. Everyone in here as a seller is trapped. All right, that's the level that buyers need to absorb. We then do what? We basically build out a continuation pattern. Right, we pull back in. They try and sell the lows a few times. We hold this pivot and we're away. Right, so you're buying this. You probably need to risk down here or at least risk these pivots, right? Which is why in the market like this where the range is so big, you probably need to size down so that you can risk more. All right, hopefully that makes sense. Okay, almost through all these questions. Blew your PA account today trying to short. I'm sorry to hear that. That sucks. I'm genuinely sorry to hear that you've done that. So it needs to be a lesson. If you've lost money doing something you shouldn't do, use it as a lesson, right? When you lose money taking a good trade setup and it fails, that's one thing. When you lose money because you've got a bad habit and you're fighting something, you need to just step back, review it, and make sure you don't do it again. All right, so review today, Make some promise to yourself. You need to be Bart Simpson on the wall. I will not guess all-time highs. I will not move my stop, right? Do the basics. Drill it into yourself. 57 and never too late. Yeah, correct. Never too late to learn. If you have 4 zones defined before the New York Open and you get an entry model in each of those zones, you got stopped out 3 times. Should you try your 4th try or just leave after the 2nd stop loss? That's very personal and up to you. I normally, if I failed 3 times in a row, I'm done because it normally means I'm not reading it very well. If I have 3 break-even trades in a row, I'll have another go at it, but it means I know I'm very close to tilt. Break-even for me is tilt. I'm more likely to get tilty off break-even than anything else. You can see we're still holding these old all-time highs. Look at this. We're holding these overnight all-time highs. They want this, guys. They want to come up here. Was I fearful of holding trades? How did I overcome it? Yes and yes. And how do you overcome it? Sizing down. You have to trust. You have to get to the point where you trust the process. You trust your confidence. It's way easier, all right, if you start sizing down, right, to hold through. Let's say it does this. Right, it's easier to hold through that with less size. It's very hard to hold through the P&L swings like this with big size on. So start small, learn to have the confidence of like, okay, this is making sense to me now. Like, I understand why we held here. I understand why we held here. I understand why they did this wiggle. I understand why we did the stop run. I understand why we hold this. I understand that we can potentially go here. Once you understand the market dynamics, how we move, it's much, much easier to hold. It's very hard to hold. I'm not taking a piss right now, right? But it's very hard to hold if you're a trader going, I don't know, I'm 5 minis long here because we've had an EMA cross and I'm trying to get 4 ticks. What the fuck are you doing? Like, market doesn't care about your 4 ticks. Like, I'm sorry, it doesn't. Like, if there was no reason for it to go higher today, we wouldn't be trading higher. We have plenty of reasons for it to go higher. So once you understand market dynamics, I think it's easier to hold on. That would be my opinion. Right, still scrolling down here. Sorry. Lots of props denying payouts at the moment. Who? If you're going to say that, at least say who so we know, because I'm not seeing any. That doesn't mean it's not happening. Did I try Trade Day? Yeah, Trade Day are great for daily payouts, but the problem with Trade Day is it takes so long to pass. They need to fix that. Do I think TopSet will issue 5k payouts until 28th? Yeah, if you're on the old accounts, but I mean, like I said, I don't like them. Haven't done. Has Lucid denied payout to anyone before? Not that I'm aware of. Will I know how to use all these once I do the course, Grace? I'm not sure what you're referring to, but yeah, anything that I trade is in the courses. What do I think about Madaz? Man, I followed that. Like, I know that guy from way back in the day. He lives in LA as well. I think he's traded a bit better recently, but I feel for him, man. He has pure honesty. You know, I remember him having $1 million days back in the JME and GME days back in 2020, 2021. But I know he's been on. He'll go on like an 8-day winning streak of like 10 to 30 grand and then give a lot back. Like, I just wish. I think like most of the community, we love him. There's no hate. Like, the transparency is amazing. There's no hate. I just wish he'd set a max loss. Because if he just set a max loss, his winning days would way outweigh his like losing days. But I think he's a good dude, and that's it. Oh my God, there's so many questions here. Sorry, folks. I'm trying to get through them. How do I stay calm and collected? Multiple days I'm up, and then the more I'm near the computer, the greater the chance that I will take more trades and eventually blow the account. Then just leave when you're up. Have a reason to leave. My name's Grace, and I've just bought all your courses. What's my next step? Start to go through them this weekend. When do I get connected to Discord? If you go to the last module or one of the last modules in the 20-hour course, it would tell you how to connect to Discord there. Look, you've just done same thing here, guys. They're going to go for the extension, right? They held all-time highs. They held low volume nodes. Shorts are piled in, and they're going to go for this. This is what they're trying to do. I don't know if they can do it, but it's definitely what they're trying to do. How long have I been trading? Too long, man. Full-time, like 7+ years. And before that, I was trading like 10+ years before that, before I had a career change. When do I plan to sell these tech stocks? Well, taking some profits in some of them. I don't really. I plan to just reload in them. The ones I'm in, they're there for long-term holds. Do I think you should full port evals to get a PA? Only if you can afford to do it and you're confident. Otherwise, no. What footprint chart is that? I don't know which one I showed you. This one is TradingView. I use NinjaTrader, but it was just quicker for me to quickly move over. But that's TradingView. Is it a good idea to start with paper trading? Yeah, while you learn structure and stuff, paper trade, but then I would advise you the moment you understand how the market moves to move on to a cheap account where you've got something in the game, because what you need to learn to deal with is emotions. That's the biggest thing. Alex, I've been buying when heavily extended outside the fourth VWAP deviation and average in if it goes the opposite direction. It hasn't failed for ages, but I feel like I'm trading awfully, even if profitable. So you're playing basically mean reversion extensions. I mean, that's kind of how I used to play back in the day, but I used to use standard deviations. But you got to know that you're going to get an outlier day, right? So if you're buying the fourth deviation on VWAP, what happens when you get the outlier day when we go 5, 6, 7, 8? It will happen. There's always a black swan. All right, so you can't be doing that. You let it come to the fourth. If you're a mean reversion trader and you're saying fourth's my level, let it come, let it fail, let it retest, let it fail. Then you've got something to set your stop against. Because if you add, and that black swan comes, you can say goodbye to all your money. All right, so that's what I'd say. Early in your career, did you go through a phase where you saw several levels but couldn't or wouldn't commit to making an entry? Yeah, definitely. My biggest challenge is not entering, and most of the locations work. Then you need to just start entering with the smallest contract size possible so it costs you the least possible. You've got to learn to... You are not going to make money if you can't put risk on. At some point, you have to be risk on, right? So it's about building that confidence. So start with 1 micro. What's the worst that's going to happen, especially in an evaluation account that costs you $36, right? Let's say you started with 1 micro today and it flushed you out. Okay, let's say you took $100 loss. Big fucking whoopee-doo, all right? You're on a 50K account. You've got $2,000 to lose. Even if you lost all $2,000, right, what's it actually cost you? $36. It's the best thing about prop firms. It's so cheap to learn. I didn't learn this way. I learned on... day trading with PDTE and 25 grand in that account, ready to get blown at all times. Do I think we fill the gap in the final run to close? Fill what gap? What are you talking about? We're at all-time highs. What, you think we're coming down here? No, mate. We ain't coming down here today, right? We ain't coming down here. You would need them to be like... You'd need like Iran just bombed America, or America's just started bombing in Iran to see that. We're not filling any gap today, right? We're gap and go. We're gap and go today. We're not on a gap fill. We're on a gap and go. Different setup. How much of my strategy comes from Wyckoff? Yeah, fair amount, I'd say. Fail breakouts are the most powerful thing going. But, you know, you could argue that was this today. I'd just say that's an RBS. But I'd say yesterday, and you would have seen my video on fail breakouts last weekend. The start of this whole move came from 2 fail breakouts, as in on the daily and weeklies. You choose Ninja is OneDrive disabled. Yeah, I don't use OneDrive. Thanks a bunch, Alex, for the week. My first week to see how you mentor people live. And I must admit, I've learned so much junk from other so-called traders. Joining your platform ASAP. Yay. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Hi, Flowzone. Do you have a coupon for Lucid? Yeah, FZT. All right, we'll get you 40% off FZT. Okay, I think we're through most of them. I think we're through most of the accounts. Here it goes. So this is your target. Remember, up here, this is your target. And we have 1,000 likes. Sorry, just refresh that. Found you all. All right, let's give me a second. All right, just type FZT once into chat. It's the best code to use for most of your prop firms. All right, and I'll give away a free Apex account. The only prop firm you don't use that with is Take Profit Trader. You can use code Flowzone. Here comes the drive, folks. All right, like I said, I wouldn't be short today. This is not a day to short. Shoulda, woulda, coulda, just held on to these longs, eh? Jeez Louise, we had optimal position here. I tell you what, it's just another day where ES made our life a little bit harder. But if you get this target, are any of you still long in that? You're going to get almost 300 points. Is anyone still long in that move for the full move? I would love it if you were. I'd absolutely love it. How high can it go? Well, I'll be looking for 280s. 280s is 280s, 480s is the main level. I'll remind myself the fib again. Yeah, 480s and then 600s. And let me just measure out the initial balance extension as well, just to check that. We're already through that. And we've got another one at 480s. Yeah, 480s, 480s. And then 600. Those are the levels today. Those are the levels. Oh, some of you still long. Landon, 220 points up right now. Nice, man. This makes me happy. Are these breakout buys? Yeah, breakout buys coming in. There'll be breakout bars coming in. There'll be shorts coming in, getting blown out. All right. So, you know, think about this. How many shorts just tried to short this here? Or added, all right? Or added in here, trying to short, thinking we'd melt down and use this as their stop. All right. And we break out again. So then they become market buyers. All right. So this is the target. But do not be adding long up here. All right. Remember, the long opportunities were here and here. Get used to trying to let stuff work. I'd be very cautious about adding up here. This is very, very extended. Well, we can keep moving high. There's no reason to be short on it. What? Why are you spamming ICT bollocks in this chat? Please stop it. What are you doing? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. What are you doing? What a weirdo. Give you guys a minute more. Alex, sorry I've been away most of today, but I did catch a snip of you mentioning large-scale investment. What was that? Also, that being the case, does that form new support? Mike, you might have heard me talk about the last 48 hours. We've seen some of the biggest trades ever into the chip names. So all the chip names are running off that. That's what I was saying. So we'll see if we get a blow off top. But at the moment we are running and running and running. All right, let's pick this winner. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Jonathan Pedraza, 4105. Jonathan Pedraza, 4105. Are you here, buddy? Jonathan Pedraza. ES, by the way, is holding its RBS zone now. If we have a look at this, think about this zone, look at the difference. All right, so this is now support on ES, isn't it? It was supply. Move this up a bit. Right, this is now support. Very simple. Resistance becomes support, all right? And it's going to try and extend now. And it all dips down into 80s. If they hold that, it can still extend. Nice. Congratulations, Jonathan. Right, all I need you to do, send me an email, info@flowzonetrader.com. Send me a screenshot of you logged into YouTube, and then I will sort you out with a free Apex account. All right, that's it. I'll sort you out the free Apex account. We will, because it's a Friday, I'm feeling kind, let's do a free beginner course giveaway. It's not the beginner to advanced course. It's just an introduction course to trading. It's good if you've never, ever, ever traded before. It's only 2 hours long. But let's do a free giveaway of that. So just type course once in chat. While you sort that out, I might get a refill on this coffee and I'll come straight back. Sorry, folks. Took a minute longer than I thought. All right. Let's pull this winner. Connor Stout. Connor Stout. It's quite an Irish name, or at least Gaelic. Are you here, Connor? Nice. Congrats, Connor. Right, same thing for you, my friend. Just email me info@flowzonetrader.com. Send me a screenshot of you logged into YouTube, and I will sort you out with a free account, with a free introduction to trading course account. All right. Let's go over this so that you're prepared for the rest of the day. The market is at all-time highs. The market is in a drift higher. The market, this is ES, let's get back to NQ. The market, all right, has no reason to come down right now. We are in a drift higher mode, right? So if you are going to be one of the people trying to short this right now, you are going to need buyers stuck. You have no buyers stuck right now. The only time that I can see right now where you have buyers stuck is if you come underneath this node, right, and you reject this, and even then, you might very well find some buyers down in here. All right, so my argument would be there's probably no good short today. The abilities to buy were here. All right, you can wait till Monday. If you're already in this long, you look great. I really wouldn't be buying up here now. Right, this is your final target, I would say. Above that, again, we're in price discovery. We don't know how high we can go. But, you know, I'd certainly want the market, if I was long, right, to protect this node, and ideally you'd want it to protect the high volume node. You wouldn't really want it back under 85, otherwise you're giving quite a lot back for those of you who are long from down here. All right, beautiful move, nice simple move, and yeah, don't force the shorts. We will come back Monday. Thanks for being on stream with me today. It's been fun. It's been fun to hang out. It's been a nicer flow on stream today, and don't forget to sign up to the newsletter. It costs you nothing. The links are down below. It's completely free. I give you all the key levels that I'm looking for. In fact, let's have a look at what I predicted for this week, because I'm not sure what my upside targets were, but we're about to find out. I'm going to have a look. Was I wrong or was I right? Was I way off this week? We will find out. Hard to predict upside moves. So where is this campaign? Let's have a look. Bullish moves. What did we say? Look below and fail of 26,700 will be a trap. So 26,700. We even get down there. That's pretty good, isn't it? A look below of 26,700 will be a trap. Okay, there's your look below of 26,700 will be a trap. God, that was fucking good. That was a good call. Okay, look below 26,700 will be a trap. And then the upside outlooks, 27,000, 27,080, 27,290, 27,500. Mate, that's not bad. So we're approaching the 500s. And before you guys are like, whatever, it's right here. All right, I did legit say that. It's not me making it up. This is the benefit of just signing up for something for free. Look below and fail of value area low, 26,700. Upside targets are here. All right, we're almost there. That's pretty good. That's a pretty good read. I'm happy with that one. I was way off the week before because we went turbo. I didn't expect it to go turbo. All right, everyone. So, yeah, sign up to that. And those of you who have just signed up to the course, if you email me any questions, I'll try and get sorted over the weekend. And I'll see you guys on Monday morning. We'll go again, like always. Have a good weekend. Don't forget, as I tell you guys all the time, it's just a job. This is just trading. It doesn't define who you are. It shouldn't take up all the room in your life. Make sure you're making room for your hobbies, for your loved ones, for your friends, for your pets, for things that you enjoy doing. Do not, this whole narrative of you need to be completely obsessed with this all the time. Bollocks, you will burn out, all right? So take the weekend off. If you want to go and review trades, sure, go and do that. But make sure you're getting time doing other things that make you feel whole and wholesome. Peace and love, everyone. And yeah, see you Monday morning, 9:15. Take care.